up, Dagger? I need a break from everything. Last night was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Sick people out there, boy. Sick. Let's all start jumping, moving to the beat. Swing side to side, stand up. Good morning, Marianne. I'm on TikTok first today. Trying to figure out why I'm not on Facebook. Now it's saying it's live. Alright, now I can see it. Alright, not for nothing. I'm going to go over it really fast because I'm not making today about it. If you were paying attention, I was doing shorts when all that was happening. And like practically in real time. Because I was watching the correspondence dinner. And then I seen that happen. I was like, what the hell is going on? And then we all found out that some psycho decides to... Now, first of all, what's up, Jake? Remember that commercial, Jake from State Farm? Yeah, I'm really talking to Jake, State Farm. Well, this is Jake in the UK. So cheers to you, Jake, and those on TikTok. But first of all, I've been to many conferences, including in those in hotels. And you know, the people that don't belong to be there aren't supposed to be there. And I'm just talking about me going to a UFO thing where, you know, it's a room that's designated for the conference, you know. Now, this person actually must have plotted this. First of all, a few things. He was a guest. That means he booked that room way in advance because that's a very busy hotel, okay? So this was plotted. This was planned. This person knew exactly. He planned this psycho. So it doesn't really have to do with the events of the past, like recent days or weeks, because he planned this way ahead of time. He was a guest. Now, maybe he did get a lucky thing and he got a room right away. I don't know, but as a guest, you know, you can go in and out of the hotel. You're already a guest. You check in, blah, 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 blah. But there's no fucking way anyone, I don't care what kind of guest you are, should get anywhere near the area where the top of the chain of command of this country is there, let alone all the other officials in government. I know the press, of course, and there were some civilians there as well. There is no way that person should have had the opportunity to run through that magnetometer and even get to where he was. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that right there made me immediately, when I seen it, I was like, what's up with security? And you would think after what happened the prior two times, that security would be so incredibly tight. And to see that weakness and vulnerability and a person able to run through, like, I was like, oh shit, this is crazy. Now, he was going into the lobby, but he was trying to run to the doors that enter where they were. I'm going to tell you, I'm holding some people accountable for that. You know what I'm saying? Or... I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I am not. I'm grounded. You know that. But it makes me wonder what the hell happened there that it was so lackadaisical that did somebody just turn their head the other way with this dude? It makes me wonder because it was that bad. The security was that bad. It makes me wonder, how did this person get to there? When you've got, again, Just think of who is in that room. Just think about who is in that room. The president, the vice president, the secretary of war, secretary of everything. Marco Rubio's there. Everybody's in there. Patel, Kash Patel, the FBI director, the attorney general, the interim. Everybody's in that room. And of course, the president's wife, the first lady, Melania. So many people are in that room. Which makes me wonder, to be honest, they shouldn't have all those people in the same room. God forbid something does happen. Do you know what I mean? Somebody should not be allowed to be there. Designated survivor, let's call it. That's usually a Congress thing, but there should be someone that should not be in that room. God forbid something goes down like a crazy fuck. So, again, there is some real things they have to look at here, practical. To see it so bad, the security, that this person was able to run through and get to where he was. What happens if this person wasn't just carrying weapons, but strapped with stuff? I'm on TikTok, so I gotta be careful. What happens if he was doing something like that? That's what scares me. Do you know what I mean? That's what scares me. Is the potential on what could have been in another situation, how bad it could have been with all those people. Oh my God. Oh my God. And you know what? I have to give the president a lot of credit. And I don't care if you love the president or dislike the president. It has nothing to do with that. Because, you know how it is. I gave him a lot of credit last night, coming out and saying what he did. And also, you can see he's so defiant. He's not going to let this deter him. Not his character. It's not his character. It's almost like he shrugged it off like nothing happened. If it was another person, they might have been shook. You know what I mean? Not him. Not him. I'm just saying. And it's not like he's acting. You could tell that's him being him. That's just the way he is. And another thing I noticed that he did that was, I hope this is something that moves forward in the future on what he said last night, if you picked up on it. I hope it's a sign. Because he said, I was going to go in, this is what I'm paraphrasing, so to speak, like, I was going to go in there and be harsh and say some tough stuff, meaning that he was going to attack the news media, probably, the fake news. Now, I may be boring when I do it, when we come back to do it again, because I have to say I give all of you credit. We have Democrats, Republicans, Independents, conservative, liberals in here. And you know what? I thank all of you for coming together and doing the right thing. I was like, oh shit, could this be a moment of bringing people together? It'll last maybe 2 days, 3 days, if I had to predict. It may not even last until the end of the day. But I saw that as, wow, that's what a president does. Brings people together, not divides, brings people together. And at that moment, at such a horrific, terrible moment, and he wasn't reading off a teleprompter, this came from him. And I said, man, he should do more of that. That's just my opinion. He should do more of that. Instead of attacking, bringing people together. That would be my goal, especially with everything going on. That would personally be my approach. So I saw hope there too on the words he said last night. When he said that, that's significant. Maybe not to a lot of people, but it was significant to me as an independent. And to maybe other independents out there saying, oh shit, I like what he just said. I like that. Bringing people together. And I thought he was going to say something flippant in that situation. But he didn't. He really didn't. He said that. I was like, wow. And he was joking. He says, I was going to come in here and be tough or whatever. He said brash, or I was gonna be tough, whatever he said. But now, when we do this again, I may be boring. And he was alluding, because what he was planning to say may have changed now. But that might change when they do it within 30 days. He still might do it anyway. But I was like, wow, that's great that he just said that. Trying to bring people together, you know? Hey, that's what I said, Fred. What if he was wearing that? That's what I was alluding to. What if? That's what I said. I don't know if you were here when I said that. And that's I was thinking about that too, Kenny. That is definitely a big thing I was thinking about. Now that ballroom becomes even more significant to have gatherings, just not now, but moving forward in the future where security can really lock it down. I was thinking the same thing last night. That security, that ballroom is important when you have dignitaries, people from other countries, because he was right about that too. No one's safe out there as a leader. You've got nut jobs out here, you know, no matter where you are, in what country, because, you know, whatever political affiliation the opposing, they have that. Some people are just cray-cray. You've got to protect leaders. You've got to protect, and he's right, no one's really safe. I mean, you're always going to have opposition, and in that opposition, you have cray-crays. It goes without saying. There's cray-crays out there of all kinds, of all parties, of everyone. This is not right, left, this. You have cray-crays out there. Period. They're mentally ill. They're mentally unstable. That's why the same way you might say, oh, then don't say that a gun doesn't, it's not the gun that kills people, it's the person. And those persons have mentally, they're not stable. So you can't be a hypocrite and say it's okay for this thing when this happens, but not use the same kind of reference when you're dealing with people that are mental using a gun to do what they do. Because that's what it is. These people are sick. You know what I mean? So you can't have it both ways. A mentally ill, cray-cray person, whether they've been influenced, manipulated, whatever it is, you do, no matter what your opinion is, you do not act in violence. That's cray-cray. I mean, that you just don't. Just because you don't like someone, you don't like what they say, so now you're going to take action to harm them? But you got crazy people out there, even when I'm in chat, the stalking, the trolling. How, when they say shit, how do we know that we can't take them to a serious point? Believe me, I had to do it in the past. Go to the police. Twice in my 10 plus years doing this. Twice I had to go to police. Because you got to consider when these people put shit in the chat, you don't know if they're serious and they potentially could risk harm to you, your family, whatever. You have crazy people out there. You know? So we got to be careful with rhetoric and this and that, because you got people that take that shit so literal because they're nuts. They are, whatever the reasoning is, whether they're sadistic and they're just insane or they have issues, they might have personal issues, they're loners, whatever it is. Their self-esteem is such at a low point, they have nothing to lose, this kind of bullshit. You know what I mean? So you got to be really careful. But the main point here is God bless the president. Thank God he's okay. The first lady, the people that, the vice president, all the people that were right there, sitting there, but everyone else, including the press, including the civilians that were working there or were invited there as guests. Everyone, thank God everyone is safe. But there needs to be some serious looks at the security from last night. You know what I'm saying? They gotta look at that security protocol, because that was unacceptable. Somebody, and you know what? You saw how the guy ran through there like a marathon, like he was running so fast. give credit to the Secret Service how quickly they responded and detained and took him down. Immediately, as soon as he ran, he's ready. And you saw them all come in a swarm. Thank God for that. But leading up to that point, to the screening area, that is a big vulnerability in that security area. I mean, that shit, I couldn't believe it how you could see him. He's getting ready to run. And then he starts running. I'm like, how is he able to do that? I can't even do that at a concert. At an event. You know what I mean? I was like, holy shit, it's empty. It's like light security. It's like he just ran through there like it was nothing. I was like, holy shit. Plus he avoided the whole celebrity roast with it. It just seems odd. And how there was not going to be a roast. There was no comedian. First time they weren't going to use a comedian I didn't think he wanted to have a comedian there roasting him. They were using what they called a mentalist, whatever the hell that means. Something having strong. Yes, Kenny. Exactly, Kenny. Exactly what he said, because I'm on the platform right now. I got to be careful. Kenny's on point 100%. Well, he didn't miss Hungry. A Secret Service agent was hit in the vest, and thank God that Secret Service agent is okay. So he didn't miss. He got a shot off before they got him, because they reacted quickly. But like somebody said in chat, and I said it before this started, what if it wasn't just him carrying stuff and he was wearing something else or something more powerful, and he was able to get to that point? That's what scares me and concerns me about the security. I'm thinking about what could have, in another situation, how bad this could have been if the circumstances were different with the same security issue. That concerns me. Somebody brought it up in chat. I don't remember who it was. But that is absolutely something that they have to look at. But you saw him. So I wanted to go back. Right? I was really trying to get us to go back. But it's protocol. They don't know who else might be involved in this. You got to clear him out. You got to get him to safety. He wanted to go back in. But, there's certain protocols that for security reasons, after especially that, you don't know. Is there somebody else? Is this a plot? Is this a decoy? That something else is going on somewhere else? They have to think about all those things. It was the right move. Get him out. Get him to secure location. Get him back to the White House. And then you'll see on social medias, because I already checked, that's why I'm going to game and I'm going to relax today. There's really nothing coming out of the Middle East. It's like weirdly quiet. But already they're trying to say that this person was linked to this and that. And I'm like, take it easy here. Can we, like the president said, we'll know soon enough what the possible motives might be here when they go to they already went to the home last night. They were immediately there. When they confiscate laptops, computers, tablets, phones, all that stuff. So take it easy. Let's see after they investigate, and let's see how this plays out. But already people are freaking out on Telegram saying that this guy was involved, Vahidi. If this guy, I want to know when this guy booked this hotel room, because if he booked this months and months ago, then this was obviously domestic. It has no ties to anything that's going on overseas, because it's before it even happened. So people need to calm down, wait for the facts to come out. I won't even speculate on it because it's such a serious issue here. I'm not going to speculate on it. I'm going to wait till the facts come out, and then I will discuss it. I'm not going to speculate like all these crazy people are doing right now, saying, oh, Vahidi, it's Iranian connected. There's no evidence of that at all. People are speculating. They're putting shit out there for whatever reason of propaganda. I'm not playing into that game. You know what I'm saying? So let's calm down. Let's calm down. The main thing is thank God the president, his wife, and everyone there, and like I said, everyone there, including the press, the people that were working there, invited guests, and definitely the inner administration, vice president, of course, like I just said, the president, his wife, everyone. Thank God. Thank God they're all okay. That's the main thing to me. That's it. I'm done. Oh, my shoulder. That hurt. Ooh, that hurt. So, yeah, as far as Iran, and there's going to be people saying that this was all part of like a distraction. You're going to hear so much nonsense from this. You know that. Everyone that's watching knows this. You're going to hear, oh, this is all a distraction from Iran. You're going to hear all kinds of stupid shit. And, that's what they do. We're not going to be irresponsible here doing that kind of nonsense. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that. We're not doing that. But they're already doing it. That's on them. Damn, I was going to do something. Oh, yeah, let's check on Iran quickly. It's been quiet. The Hezbollah-Israeli thing is going on. What's this? Oh, no way. No. Now, I'm just going to share this. I cannot confirm what he's saying. I'm going to just put it on my screen quick. He's saying here, this is Amir in the Israeli Reporter. Iran, on a memorial wall unveiled in the city of Mashhad, that's like one of their holier cities. Mashhad, Qom. They got a lot of sects in there. South of the city of Qom, yeah. Among the pictures of the martyrs appeared the image of someone who looks like the Mouse Jr., the new supreme leader. It's unclear why. Holy shit, it's true. It's true, it does look like the Mouse Jr. And it's a memorial wall. Right there. Why would he be there? That is interesting. I'm not going to read too much into this, but that is interesting. It's a memorial wall. And that does look like an image of the Mouse Jr., right? Why would it be there? Are they confirming something? The Israeli Reporter caught on this. That's interesting. I'm just saying. Take this for what it's worth, but why would that be there? You know? Exactly, Marianne. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. And let's just see how that all plays out. And this is interesting. And I don't know if it's true, but it's being spread all over. Allegedly, Israel sent the Iron Dome to the UAE at the beginning. That would be the first time an Arab country accepted Israeli military help in their country. Do you know? That's crazy. According to several reports, Israel sent at least one Iron Dome battery with an Israeli crew to the UAE during the war with Iran. From what I understand, this is the first time Israel has sent a military unit outside the country to defend a foreign state. An Arab state. That's interesting. And they're doing this in Israel. And I mean, you read into this however you want. Thank you, God and Donald Trump. They put this in Israel, Tel Aviv. See? Check that for however you want to read into that. But that's what they're doing in Israel, in Tel Aviv. And Israel is pounding Hezbollah. pounding
The
Hezbollah.
Yankees just
Alexa,
needed
stop.
extra-
This just came in.
الله أكبر يا شباب، جريمة على الدوار، جريمة في 500 سيارة عليكم، جريمة، عمل جريمة على الدوار. الله أكبر، الله أكبر.
Oh boy.
الله أكبر يا شباب،
أخ.
جريمة على الدوار، جريمة
Here we
في
go.
500 سيارة عليكم، جريمة، عمل جريمة على الدوار. الله أكبر، الله أكبر.
Oh God.
It's 48 degrees.
Alexa,
and most of-
stop. Yes, it was done. Exactly. It was done early in the war. Let me get rid of that. And let's see the other one. This is just a picture. So they're striking targets in southern Lebanon. So this continues. Let me just hit the game. It's like, meanwhile, this is going on. And yeah, it's reposting all over the place. All right, let's see what the other side is saying. Nothing important. So more drones being sent by Hezbollah. But that's basically it. It's kind of quiet. And Axios is the one that reported it, by the way. Right there. I agree, Marianne. Now remember what I said about the ceasefire yesterday. And I know there are people spinning it different ways. I get it. Think of the logic behind it. This ceasefire agreement between Lebanon and Israel. Mom, not right now. Southern Lebanon and dealing with Hezbollah is not part of the ceasefire agreement. That's between the Lebanese government and Israel. And I'm sure in those agreements was you will not target Beirut. But I guarantee the option was because both of them want Hezbollah gone. The Lebanese government wants Hezbollah out. They're done. They've made statements. I've told you this. They've made statements that they want them out. We're going to hunt them down. We're going to get them out. So I think southern Lebanon, as far as the Lebanese and the Israelis, is not part of the ceasefire agreement. It's not. So they both want Hezbollah gone. And I have a feeling that they left that part out. That southern Lebanon is, and Hezbollah itself is not part of the ceasefire agreement. Thus, they'll go back and forth. Otherwise, you would have heard statements from the Lebanese government already saying the ceasefire has been violated. You're not hearing that, are you? Who's saying that the ceasefire is violated? Israel with Hezbollah and Hezbollah against Israel. Now, there was an original ceasefire that was agreed upon these two parties a couple of years ago or a year ago. Remember after October 7th, they came up with a ceasefire between Hezbollah and Lebanon that they were not to be south of the Litani River. The Lebanese army allegedly went in there. Allegedly, Hezbollah was not supposed, they agreed in the ceasefire that they were not to be in that area in southern Lebanon, south of the Litani River. You have to look into this. They violated that ceasefire when they attacked Israel when all this shit was going on. They violated that ceasefire because they moved right back in. So it's a little bit more complex when you look at it. So I think that right there is the violation that you're going to hear a lot. They violated this, they violated that, back and forth. I am just assuming this. I'm just speculating on this, but you would have heard. You would have heard this already. Arabic soldiers, Iranian foreign minister arrives in Islamabad, but obviously JD Vance, God, thank God, they're all in. They were in D.C. last night. They're not in Islamabad. It would take hours for them to get there. Now I don't know if anything's scheduled for tomorrow. What does that mean about the ceasefire that was supposed to expire today? Is that going to get extended again? A lot of people saying yesterday, no, 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 no. What do you say today? It's going to be extended. I thought yesterday I said it was going to be extended. I'm even thinking more that it's going to be extended now. So, take that for what it's worth. We'll see. But anyway, that you would have heard. The only people crying about the ceasefire violations is Hezbollah and Israel, not the Lebanese government. Until I see the Lebanese government say otherwise, Israel has a Lebanese official that was part of the negotiation say Israel has violated the ceasefire, or Hezbollah has violated the ceasefire, thus the ceasefire is over. Until I hear that, there's something more to this than we all realize. That's just my opinion. There's an agreement between Israel and the Lebanese government. They both want Hezbollah gone, but don't target Beirut. You target Beirut, the ceasefire is done. Then you will hear it. Ceasefire is done. I think that's the catch. And it makes total sense. If you think about it, it makes total sense. I'm going to go to Iran International quick. And then I'm going back. You're right. Thank you, Keith, for letting me know. I was gaming before I started talking about all this. Oh boy, see, this is what I say about the parliament members. They're saying so much stuff, and the judiciary. This is 2 minutes ago. A member of Iran's parliament, Presidium, said there is a possibility of war and urged readiness, warning the public with caution while cautioning against panic. I don't want to alarm people, but we must be prepared. The possibility of war exists. "18 minutes ago, he called the Saudis to discuss regional developments and diplomatic efforts. You think the Saudis are looking at them and trusting them? I would. No way. He said that Tehran is pursuing ceasefire efforts and diplomatic initiatives to end the war and reduce tensions. Take your conditions off. One of their main conditions is naval blockade needs to end. The president is no way going to do that. There's just no way. Okay, that's Iranians gathering. He arrived in the Pakistani capital. Oh God, what is Starmer saying? Oh, they had a phone call today? And? He went for further consultations. There are no plans, even though he's there, for a U.S. delegation to arrive. But that could be public. That doesn't mean that's not going on behind the scenes. Can't read into that. Yeah, this is going to go back and forth. Yeah, that was horrible last night. Oh my God. We need to find out more information on this. And like I said, I'm not going to speculate. So Blanche told NBC News that, quote, it does appear that he did in fact set out to target folks that work in the administration, adding the suspect likely traveled by train from LA to Chicago and then Washington. So this is going to be a developing story throughout the day, obviously. like I said, once we find out, they dig in and they do their investigation, get in possession of all his tablets and computers and phone and all social media posts and all that, then they'll get a better picture and idea of what this psycho was motivated by, if they even get that. Because I was watching the coverage yesterday, and they had somebody saying that they already looked at his social medias, and it looked pretty clean, except he did. I don't know if I don't want to misquote. He did like certain things about people being laid off, frustration of people getting laid off, and all that. But again, I don't want to jump ahead of it. Let's wait till the facts come out. Let's see what the FBI finds, and then we can discuss it. You know what I mean? So let's take a little breath, and that's why I'm going to game and listen to music this morning, because it's been just a crazy 12 hours or so. Oh my God. And like somebody said in chat, thank God that this person wasn't doing something even more nefarious and heinous by possibly doing something even worse. I'm on TikTok, so I gotta watch my wording. It could have been worse. What if he was strapped? What if he was strapped? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Somebody brought that up in chat, and that was a great point. I even mentioned it when I first started. That security, him just running through there and getting to where he got before they detained him, that was close to the entry point going into where everyone was. That's close proximity. And we've seen in the past what that can do. That definitely it could have. That's what scares me more about this. It really does. And we have to all be thankful and pray to God. Thank God. That scares me. It really does. That scares me. The what if? The what ifs. It does. See, a lot of people say, well, it didn't happen. But what if it did? What if it did? You're supposed to prepare for any possible scenario and protect the president and anyone that's in that room. I was like, when I saw the video, because the president was the one that released it on True Social. He posted it. I was like, when I saw it, I was like, oh my God. He was just able to run right through. It looked, I hate to say this, I know this is not a good joke. It looked like a Hertz commercial with OJ running through the airport. Remember that commercial? And he's jumping. I was like, what the oh my God. I couldn't believe it. But at the same time, they did an exceptional job, Secret Service, detaining that guy before he can. It just took a few seconds. So God bless them too, and God bless the agent that was hit in the vest. And it seems like he's okay. I think it's a he. So let's see how this develops. Let's see when the facts come out, and let's see what's going on with this Iran thing. Because we're going to probably get an announcement at some point today. Oh, look at this. See, this is what I mean about them. And you guys were saying this too, and I agree. A senior Iranian lawmaker, and this is why I say you got to go after all of them. This is why I say you got to go after all of them. That's the regime. That's the core. You got to go after all of them. Said the ceasefire was accepted to rebuild military capacity and replenish weapons. And it was aired on state television on Sunday. Ibrahim Azizi, head of the Parliament's National Security and Foreign Policy Committee, said the pause in fighting offered an opportunity to reload and strengthen the armed forces. Some asked whether accepting a ceasefire at this stage was right or not. My answer that it was necessary to rebuild capabilities and improve our forces. That's how they're trying to spin it, at least. Not in the desperate acts of Ghalibaf and some to try to actually negotiate with the United States and come to some kind of a deal. Well, the hardliners said, screw that. Now they're putting out this narrative. It's crazy. It is cray-cray. So, again, allegedly, the ceasefire is supposed to expire today. Tonight? I don't even know what the time was for the ceasefire. So I'm sure we're going to hear some type of an announcement on True Social, most likely, or maybe the president. I hope the president is with his wife and they're spending some downtime together today, honestly. But he's the president, and it's easier said than done to do that. But I'm sure we're going to hear something about this ceasefire today. Either it's going to be extended, or if he doesn't say anything at all, that would be interesting too. It's supposed to. What? He put this out a little while ago. Let's look at it quick. What happened last night is exactly the reason that our great military, Secret Service, law enforcement, and for different reasons, every president for the last 150 years have been demanding that a large, safe, and secure ballroom, I agree with that, be built on the grounds of the White House. I totally agree with that. For security reasons alone. And I don't want to hear people complaining about it because it makes total sense to have a freaking ballroom on the ground of the White House. This event would have never happened with the military's top secret ballroom currently under construction at the White House. It cannot be built fast enough. I agree. I agree. I'm sorry. I don't care what, and that's my opinion. I totally agree with the president. Absolutely. It has the highest level security feature there is. Plus, there are no rooms sitting on top of for unsecured people to pour in. That's what I said. People that are guests in the hotel can have access to that area. Are you crazy? Absolutely 100% accurate. And inside the gates of the most secure building in the world, 100%, the White House. The ridiculous ballroom lawsuit brought by a woman walking her dog who has absolutely no standing to bring such a suit must be dropped immediately. Nothing should be allowed to interfere with this construction, which is on budget and substantially ahead of schedule. Thank you for your attention in this matter. Totally agree. Does anybody disagree with that? It makes total sense. It can be that's where you have security. You ain't getting through those White House gates without the proper credentials. You know how they have to all go through it. That is absolutely a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Stop it. This even emphasizes that point of the importance of having a secure area like a ballroom where you have, this isn't just about what the president does. This has to do with foreign dignitaries when they come into the country and they have a dinner for them. At least it's secure. God forbid something happens and they're going to say, oh my God, the United States security allowed this to happen to this person or that. No. We ain't going to. I don't even want to see that scenario. This is how you prevent such a scenario from actually happening. Right? It makes sense to me. It's common sense. And there's a lot of donor money. I mean, he says it's all donor money. So what? It's not taxpayer money. So what is the problem? What is the problem? I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. I mean, that's common sense. Exactly. It was old. That's right. It wasn't enough room. Totally right, Kenny. Absolutely 100% correct. Absolutely. Unless TikTok. Oh God, I hate this puzzle. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, that's what he shared last night. The image of the person. That's the video he posted himself. So nothing on Iran. Nothing on Iran. Yet. Yet. I guarantee we will hear something about regarding the ceasefire later today. Because it's supposed to expire today. Yes, that's right. That was mentioned last night. That's right. Same hotel, Ronald Reagan. And I got to be careful, I'm on TikTok. Yes. I mean, this place has a history. Absolutely, Jonathan. The weather here is so bad. Mom's listening to the weather. All right, so I'll keep an eye on the events moving forward today. I definitely see more information coming about what happened last night, and I think we should hear more about any negotiations or the ceasefire by this afternoon at some point. Because I don't know, what was the time the ceasefire ends today? Technically. Ceasefire to end Sunday. Let's see. I don't think we're going to see anything because there was no official announcement on it. No. But I'm not going to even look at the New York Times. I'm not seeing any updates about it. Nothing. So we're going to have to wait to see how, if and when the president makes a statement about it. There's one today. Nothing. So keep an eye on that. I'm sure Tusi will be on later. I'm not looking at the New York Times. I'm just going to share what the New York Times headline is from today. Iran negotiators set to return to Pakistan to try to revive truce talks. Are they going to keep playing this game with the president? First you don't want to meet, now you're there to revive it? I mean, what is the game? It was not clear whether President Trump would send his negotiators for a new round of discussions after abruptly calling off the trip by his top advisors on Saturday. As the on and off talks with the U.S. to end the war. Give me a break. They're playing games. This has to stop. And I think at this point, just speculating, it obviously could happen on two ways. He extends it, or he said enough is enough. He's not going to respond through Truth Social or through the media, and he's just going to act. Without any warning to the press, on his Truth Social, anywhere, he might just act. And just do it. It could be three options, actually. He extends the ceasefire, and he says that they're planning to, Iran has come back to the table with a new deal or a new offer. We looked it over, it looks promising, whatever the wording is. So we're set to meet this week in Islamabad, something like that. Two, he says Iran deadline is tonight, ceasefire ends. If they don't make a deal, bombs away or whatever he says. Or three, he says nothing at all and just acts. Those are the three scenarios I see. Unless somebody has another one. Exactly, Jonathan. It's about buying time. Those are the three scenarios I see. So let's see what happens in a few hours, because I'm sure he's going to mention it somewhere, or maybe not. How it won't affect anything, Jonathan. This has nothing to do with Iran. What happened last night? Nothing. Not in his mind. This isn't going to deter him either way, his decision making on what happens in Iran. It will not affect him at all. Zero. It will influence him moving forward. Zero. None. So, like I said, we just have to see how the day goes on. Any statements are made. Forget about the Iranian rhetoric, because they always say rhetoric. It's a lot of bluster. They've been doing that for decades. It's always talk. I don't take anything. Yeah, I already went over that, Jonathan, about what the alleged motives were. We have to wait. Because Blanche went on NBC and said he was targeting administration officials and possibly including the president himself. So obviously, we'll see. We have to wait for the facts to come out. But that's what Blanche said on NBC News. That's actually, at least that's what the ex-post said. He was on NBC News and said he was targeting administration officials, which probably includes the president himself, of course. No. The president, obviously, when something like that happens, I mean, you have to think about it. It happened in the lobby. They were sitting there. He said it sounded like a tray or dishes. I forgot what he said. And then he figured it was a gunshot. And then they whisked him away, but they wished JD first, which was interesting. Why was JD first and not the president first? And obviously they have different security teams, so they're diverted into two different areas. They're not going to have them go to the same area. They want to split them up because they have their own details. So that's just the strategic aspect of security. They have their own teams, which makes sense. But he said it last night. He brushed it off. He was calm. I don't think this is going to affect him anyway. Not him. Maybe if it was, I'm not trying to joke, but if it was Biden, he may be totally confused about everything that happened. I'm just saying. He handles it a totally different way than others would handle it. You don't know how others would have handled it. But him, it's clear that he's not going to let nothing deter him from doing what he's doing in regards to any policy, period. And he made that clear. Well, obviously they wouldn't go after certain people if they didn't feel that they were making a difference and they weren't impactful. If he said that. So obviously, they see me doing what I'm doing and they don't like it. Pretty much, I'm paraphrasing and what was this? Yeah, there are videos all over, Jonathan. But like I said, I don't want to I want to wait. I want to wait until the evidence comes out, the FBI investigation. I want to see how this develops. Because we can all speculate, forget about it. I want to see when the facts start coming out. And we should hear more by this afternoon. Definitely. Or maybe tonight. Definitely by tomorrow. Because they're going to want to put this out there and being transparent about it as soon as possible. Dana White wasn't stunned at all. He was smiling and didn't act shocked. Very odd. People respond to different situations because he may have been confused, like, what's going on? When you see people's reactions in real time, some people react sooner than others. Some people don't know what the hell is going on. They don't know what to make of it. He might have thought it was a bunch of people dropping dishes or trays because it didn't happen in the room. It happened outside the room. Doors were locked. They were closed. They heard what was going on in the lobby, but they didn't see it. But then when in all the confusion, then you see the Secret Service coming out running. It's like, holy shit, something's going down. So you have to think of the moment. All of it happens so quick. People react differently to different situations. You know what I mean? Everybody's different. So I won't read into that too much. You know what I mean? Yo-Yo says, I think it may have taken longer since they had to get Trump and his wife out. The only thing is, like when I watched the videotape of that, immediately they came out and whisked. Maybe because it was easier to get him out because the president was there with Melania and the other individuals right there in that cluster. They needed to get more out there to get him off. And remember, this man is near 80 years old. I mean, come on. But like I said, I was like, these people are willing to give up their lives. We know that. Secret Service, you saw how they jumped right in front of him trying to protect him. Those people, amen to them, and doing their jobs to protect the president and the first lady and anybody in that area that was right there. Awesome. That's just my opinion. Thank God. Because you never know. Thank God. Thank God for them. They deserve a lot of credit. I think people don't give them enough credit for the jobs they do. Personally. Secret Service and anyone else who's involved in the detail for security for the president and anybody else there, you know what I mean? They deserve a lot of credit. And again, this isn't whether you dislike or like. That is the president and first lady and anyone else of the United States. If you're an American citizen, everyone should be thankful and praying to God that it ended up like this. But I'm sure there are some sick, sadistic individuals that think this was otherwise. And shame on you if you do that. Because regardless, this is our president. This is the president of the United States and his wife and all those other people. As an American citizen, you should be thankful and praying to God that our president is safe. Period. And if you do anything to do otherwise and make a jest of this or anyway, then you're a loser. You're a lowlife. That's just my opinion, and I'm going to say it just like that. Because there are sick people out there that think that way. Just think about that. That's how crazy shit is. There are sick people out there that would... That's why I don't want to feed into this. I don't want to... I really don't. Because this is damn serious. I want to wait till the facts come out, more evidence, and put this picture together about this individual, Cole. Yeah, you hear his background, teacher, this, that, 31 years old from California, all that. I want to wait till the facts come out and then have a discussion about it. You understand the logic? Hey, Sean, how are you? Hello to all of you, by the way. Yo-Yo, Jonathan, all of you, Kenny, all of you in chat, Marianne. Yeah. I think the president was being a little sarcastic about Iran can always call because they don't want to talk directly like that. They're not going to call, They can call intermediaries, but they're not going to. It's not like they have a red phone direct line to Iran kind of deal. They're cowards. They won't even sit face to face with the delegation of the United States. They refuse to sit face to face. And like I said, if it was me, that would be my demand. We're not going anywhere to meet with any of you unless you are in the same room with us. And we're going to get this deal or no deal done. No more games. No more bullshit. No more messenger boys. No more intermediaries. We'll do it in Pakistan, but we want to meet face to face. Enough of these games. Bring it. You better bring it, because if you don't bring it, then game on. That's it. Enough of this bullshit. Seriously, enough. Yeah, exactly, Sean. I won't feed into that. Exactly, Sean. I'm not going to feed into that. That's what I mean. Do you think there will be another war on the blockade? Or the blockade? Okay. Again, there are different opinions on how to proceed forward here. And he said it. There are people that are telling him, keep the blockade up and it will choke Iran, and Iran's going to be in a position of such economic collapse that they're going to be forced to come to the table to negotiate a deal. That is definitely out there as an option here, and I think you're seeing that playing out right now. Economic fury. The military option is still on the table. I think they're just trying to see the Iranian response here and get a feeling about where they're coming from and get a better, clearer picture about who's in charge, which is the IRGC, really. They're calling the shots now. So they're trying to feel this out right now. Because think about the last week, how unstable the situation has been in Iran internally. So I think they're in no rush here. But at the same time, we're preparing more assets, more, but so are the Iranians. They're regrouping. So, there's many ways to look at this. You could look at it and you could spin it any way you want based on your opinion. But my main thing is going to be it could be a major hint, because the ceasefire is supposed to expire tonight or today, whatever. Are we going to hear a statement saying that the ceasefire has been extended? Are we not going to hear any statement at all? Or maybe we won't hear nothing at all and something happens militarily. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm curious to see what today brings. I know. See, Sean, you're not there in Iran, but you're Iranian. You know how the mechanisms work with inside Iran. I've always said from the beginning, if you don't do it and you take out the Ayatollah and you do this, the risk is that it will become a militarized country. The IRGC will take over. Pretty much call it a coup, a soft coup. That is scarier than having these clerics and politicians, because they're not armed. They just do a lot of talking. If the IRGC is truly in control and calling the shots of Iran, that makes things a lot more serious, like tense and concerning, to me at least. Jonathan says, exactly. See, now, Jonathan, that's exactly a very big possibility of happening. If I was Trump, I would extend the ceasefire and put way more pressure on the blockade. There's a lot of people within the administration that are probably thinking the same as you are. And I'm thinking that too. I am definitely thinking that too. I don't think they're rushed to go into the military option right now, to be honest. Especially if they think the blockade is working successfully, why would you? Give it a little bit more time and see what happens in a week or two. I'm just saying. And see how much it really puts a dent on them economically, and they might just say, oh my God, we have to make a deal. We'll see. And if that doesn't work out, then there's always the military option. But, oh no. Yes.
We always get every father veteran something.
Veterans Day is not till November, Ma. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe for Father's Day, that'd be different. That I'll do for Father's Day.
That's why I'm
Okay, Ma. Could U.S. blockade an Israel attack, or is Israel... Oh, heck no. Israel ain't doing nothing without the president's approval to do anything. They're waiting on us. They're not going to strike Iran preemptively without us giving them the green light to do so. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. That's what I just said, because the blockade is actually putting a lot of economic pressure. It's working. So we got to see. What happened now? Your phone is sending weird. What? So again, let's just see. A lot of people said no yesterday that the ceasefire would be extended. Mostly everybody said no. I said yes. Your phone is possessed. So let's see. Let's see what happens. I will not be surprised today. I will not be surprised today that the president says, we've gotten word from Iran through Pakistan that they're willing to negotiate with us this week, come back to the table. So I'm going to extend the ceasefire another 5 days. And we're going to meet, but we're not going to play any games. And it's either deal or no deal. That's it. Something like that's coming out, if I had to guess. Maybe today. At some point. Let's see. Let's see. I have a feeling it's going to happen. I agree with you, Jonathan, on that. A lot of people may disagree. But especially that the week is coming now. The markets are open. There's so many considerations. Your mom also says that the U.S. will extend it. It makes sense. It does make sense. I mean, it's not like we're not watching what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's not like we're not watching. That in the event that we do, we have our list. We have information in real time, whether it's through drones or satellites, eyes in the sky, or on the ground, Mossad sharing information with the CIA or vice versa, and the people of Iran on the ground providing information to those on the ground or otherwise. Come on, it makes sense. Let's not. They don't have to rush into a military operation. When the time is right and they think they have to, then they will. Yes, Mom, I'm live right now. I'll talk to you later about it. So let's see how this develops. I have a feeling they're going to extend it today, or the president is going to extend it today. At some point on Truth Social, he's going to either put something out or he's going to go on Fox News or somewhere else, because he does do a lot of phone calls with the media. He does. You know, you'll hear that they said, we spoke with the president today and he said such and such. You know what I mean? He does make calls with the media. And obviously he's open to some other outlets than others. He's got a list. The ones at the bottom of the list may not get that call. But the ones that, like Fox, maybe Newsmax, you know, like the ones that he would prioritize to go on. Like, I'm surprised Blanche went on NBC News. NBC? Blanche? Hey, whatever. So, like, again, let's see how this plays out. The ceasefire was supposed to be, he said 3 to 5 days. The third day would have been Friday. Today's the 5th day, Sunday. So I'm assuming the ceasefire it would end today. I don't know what time, but he said 3 to 5 days when he extended it. And the third day was Friday. And the 5th day is Sunday. So I think it's today. You could do the research on it. I think he extended it to today. That's why I say I'm waiting to see if he makes a statement to extend it more. We'll see. And that's what I'm going to keep an eye on today. His Truth Social, or even some of the social media accounts, because the regime side is just so thirsty to put stuff out there. They jump on it right away. You should have seen what they were doing last night when this whole thing went down. You can only imagine, right? This is Amir. I'm seeing what Amir. More evacuation orders to southern Lebanese villages from which Hezbollah is operating. So it looks like Israel's ready to hit southern Lebanon again. The IDF will continue to operate decisively against threats directed at Israeli civilians and IDF soldiers. They just released, just now, they just released footage of another strike. There's no audio. Just now they released this. IDF. So meanwhile, this is going on. The IDF just released this minutes ago. So, meanwhile, this is going on. Okay, let me get rid of that. Let me see what else is going on. That's coming from Telegram, the IDF, directly, their Telegram account. So among the targets, this is the Israeli reporter saying it, were rocket launching terrorist cells preparing to carry out rocket attacks, a loaded and ready to launch rocket launcher, a weapons storage facility, and military structures. In addition, terrorists identified operating within a military structure as well as another identified riding a motorcycle. Ma, close the door, please. I'm live. Oh, God. I hate when she does this when I'm live. I really do. Let's see. So the other side just said, people that support the regime, Iran's Foreign Minister Araghchi just left Muscat, Oman. We know that he's in Islamabad. Then he's heading to Moscow. Oman, Pakistan, Russia, all in one trip in the middle of a war. Every capital on that list has a role to play in what comes next. Iran is making sure that all these countries support them. So what? So? Big deal. Marianne. He says he's tired of seeing his people over there. Yeah, there's a long trip special for nothing. Yeah. It's a waste of time. Sending them 18 hours or whatever that trip is for nothing. For what? I got to close the door because Mom is just not stopping. I'll be right back. We can hear you. That's the problem. I'm live. You know what I mean? I keep telling you this. Just don't listen. Oh my gosh. Let me refresh. Oh God. A few minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, Iran's foreign minister returns to Islam, but is not related to nuclear negotiations, but aimed at continuing regional consultations. So with Oman, Pakistan, and Russia. This has nothing to do with the negotiations. It's pretty much what they're saying. He returned briefly to Islamabad to follow up on recent talks with Pakistani officials when he went to Oman. Discussions include conveying Iran's conditions to end the war, such as guarantees against any future military action, no fucking way, easing maritime restrictions, the blockade, and other demands, and are not related to nuclear issues. Well, the president has emphasized this is all about nuclear. So he's saying, and not related to nuclear issues. What? That's a non-starter right there. That's what the president has emphasized. Nuclear. They're saying nuclear is not on the table. and not related to nuclear issues. Tasneem. That's a non-starter. The president has to see this and say, well, if they're not going to talk nuclear, then we're not going to talk either. We're not wasting our time. There's no deal possible here until they compromise on that issue. So that's a non-starter, if that's true. It's coming from their media. The Iran International thing is the article that they're talking about this, but Tasneem, let's see what Tasneem is saying. I think I followed them. Oh, I didn't. I should, right? Just to keep an eye on them. Look how they word it. Hezbollah released video footage of military operations against illegal Israeli settlements on Saturday and urged them not to be fooled by statements from Bibi and his cabinet. No. Look how they spin it. U.S.-Israeli war on Iran sparks fuel crisis in Ethiopia's capital. A U.S.-Israeli-led war against Iran has triggered a fuel shortage, causing long gasolines. No. You're the fuckers who closed the strait, and it's holding it hostage, not us. You started this with the strait. You're the one that's causing fuel shortages and everything, because if you open the strait, none of this happens. It is you who is causing these shortages by not allowing traffic to go through the strait. They try to flip it, blaming it's U.S. How is international and other countries related to U.S. and Israel? Oh yeah, the blood pressure's going up already, dude. It's rage baiting. It really is. But this is their news outlet. Just remember that. That's why I'm curious to see what they're saying. Oh God, and that I can't. I can't do it. Not with what they put on the screen too. I can't. Okay, let's see. And then I'm going to game for a little while. You saw that? Yeah, this is old. It's getting old. But look at in Germany. Well, the Germans are coming out after what happened to Pahlavi. They're probably embarrassed that even happened to Pahlavi in Germany, in Berlin, when somebody threw that, whatever it was, at him. And now they're coming out to support, showing their support. And it's not just Iranians that are coming out to support. A lot of people get that twisted too. And this is I'm telling you, that whole thing with the parliament members and all that, we have to go after them. I keep saying that. We have to go after them. We have to. A lawmaker in Iran. This is the hardliners in the regime. Oh, God. Another lawmaker said that a ceasefire was used to rebuild forces. Well, I'm not going to get into the other story. So, again, take this for what it's worth. You know what I'm saying? Take it for what it's worth. It ain't worth much. You know what I'm saying? It is not worth much. Especially coming from the regime. They're going to make my blood pressure go up. It's already going up. It's all stall tactics, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens today with the president. Let's see what the president, how he reacts to the ceasefire. That's what I'm looking for today. And more information about what happened last night. Those are the two things that I'm looking out for today. And keeping an eye. That's why I say don't overread into flight radar. We've been doing movement for months. Don't read too much into that because that's been going on for quite some time. The back and forth. logistic support, resupply. That's been going on. Tankers in the air. That's not uncommon. We saw that happening before this all started. So don't read too much into the flight radar. Now, there is reports of the B-2s or B-52s, I don't remember which one it was, in the UK, that they're doing things over there. Let's just wait and see how everything plays out here. I'm gonna just check flight radar anyway, even though I say that. It's like, so what? Why is flight radar doing that? Oh, it wants me to upgrade my plan. I'm not logged in. I don't remember I have the gold. I'm logged in now. I was gonna say something ain't right here. Well, they got a lot going on right now. I haven't seen that many, actually, to be honest. Near the Gulf of Oman. I'm just saying, I haven't seen 3 of them. 3 Pegasus. Something might be going down. I've not seen 3 in the same spot like that. That I will say, that I have not seen. 3 of them in the same spot? And you know the carriers are down here. Are they refueling? Is something see now like that? I say, holy shit! Oh, there's a bunch out there. There are 7. Well, how many? 3 here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Holy shit, and they're all the big boys. They're all Pegasuses. Oh, there's a Strato. There's another Strato. Holy shit, they got 8 of them. What's this down here? Okay. There are 8 of them. Now, again, I just finished saying with hypocrisy about don't read too much into it, but this is a lot of tankers right in one area. I have not seen this. Not like this. The last time I saw like 5 or 6 taking off from Saudi Arabia, or I don't know if it was Saudi Arabia, I think it was Riyadh, something happened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why would they all be here? Are they refueling? And he's trailing the other. It's like they're going in the same flight path. Why ain't I getting nothing from there? They're not going to show it. He probably turned it off. Stop. Stop that. This is curious. I gotta say, I've never seen 3 in one spot like that near the Gulf of Oman. I have not seen that. Not 3. 1, yes. Or a Poseidon. Not 3 tankers. These are all Pegasus. These are the big boys. Pegasus? Pegasus? And a Pegasus. 3 Oh, it's spoofing. It's spoofing. Which makes sense. I mean, with everything else going on, and nighttime is coming, I am totally speculating, but could he just do something? Like I said, and not say a word and just do something tonight? I'm talking about tonight here. What is this Russian fucking plane doing? History in the making. What is it? Amir, what is he? Oh, okay, that's nothing. What are you doing? Oh, you were over here too? Interesting. What were you doing in Islamabad? Were you in Islamabad? Where were you at? Where were you coming from? That Russian plane. But this is cray cray. So now it's back to where it was. See, the blue line is consistent. That one's consistent. And this one was doing a lot of circling. I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if the Russians sent in. I wonder where this one's going. What's his 29,000 feet? So he's up there. It's holding at 29. Interesting. I'm just curious. Because it's in this area. It makes sense. So maybe he's not going to Russia. Maybe they met with him in Pakistan, the foreign minister of Iran. I'm totally speculating, but flying, like behind the scenes. Okay, now there are two. C-17. There's a lot of tankers here. And there's more. There are more. C-17. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not. Is that one? No, that's an Airbus. Could be though. You never know. There's 8 tankers flying around. 8, right before nightfall. Is he still at that altitude? He is. I wonder where he's going. New Delhi? See, now that's different. It wasn't showing that. That is bizarre. I have a feeling it might have been in Islamabad. But where the hell is it going? I don't know. The Russian. It's holding the altitude, allegedly. What are the Russians up to? Where's this going? It's close to Yemen. Another one just popped up here. That's number 9. 9 tankers in the area. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, let them keep on guessing. What's up, Mom? And Bean. That is a lot. I just finished saying I don't want to read too much into flight radar. So I don't want to be sounding like a hypocrite. But when I see all these tankers over the region right now, there are 9 of them. From Iraq all the way down to the Gulf of Oman. In this area, there are 9 tankers in the air. And that's the ones with their transponders showing. Oh, God only knows what might be going on right now. He might not say anything, and you might see a military strike tonight in Iran. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but nighttime is approaching. You could see it. It might hit the fan tonight. He might say, ceasefire is over. You had your chance to talk. You tried to embarrass us yesterday by saying no negotiations, and I had to cancel my guys to go over there. You want to play that game? Well, I told you. I gave you to the ceasefire. You never know. You never know. Kenny says nothing will happen. Things are quiet. Well, wouldn't that be part of the 4D chess? Maybe that's what we're supposed to believe or be led to believe. Nothing's going to happen. Look, I just said earlier that I think the ceasefire is going to be extended. But this could be all show. Just regular exercises. And like I said, I don't want to read too much into this, but there is quite a bit of tanker activity. That's all I'm saying. And if another thing to be concerned here if Iran thinks the United States and Israel is about to do an attack, would they act first preemptively, thinking that there's a strike incoming? There's a lot of things to consider here. Exactly. You don't need 9. Let me do that count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9. Here comes another C-17. And you know the carriers, if not far, would they be refueling? Maybe they're hitting the fast-moving boats. Who knows what they're doing? But it does. I've never seen 3 tankers near the Gulf of Oman. I've never seen that. Not 3. Never 3. Not in one spot like that. Now that may not be accurate. I've never seen 3. Not in one spot like that. with Saudi Arabia looks a little active, more incoming. This one looks like it's heading back to Tel Aviv. What did this one do? Yeah, this one looks like it's going back to Tel Aviv. This one is definitely looking like it's going back to Tel Aviv. Transponders were turned off. So these two look like they're going back. I'm not sure, but it looks like they're going back to Tel Aviv. So, I mean, I'm not saying that anything's going to happen at all. No way. It's just curious. All these tankers in the air. And this one's been circling. You know, they may be helping the Kurds too up there. Or maybe Erbil in Iraq. That's a lot of activity, though, I'm telling you. And they could just be making the Iranians nervous. What? Did something just land? Anyway, I don't want to read too much into this. Exactly, Mom. I totally agree. I totally agree. We just got to stay vigilant, keep an eye on things, because he may be saying to himself, I'm done talking. We don't know. I gave them to Sunday, the ceasefire. They're not negotiating. Well, they'll come back to the negotiation table. We'll keep the blockade going, and we'll do some stuff on the side too. It could be a shift. Yes, it could be. Yes, and this has been going on before. Kenny, this has been going on before the war even started. But I've never seen three. In my time, 4 months doing this, I've never seen three near the Gulf of Oman, near the Strait. Never. Never seen. I'm just saying, I've never seen it. Not three. Like that. Never. And I've been doing this for months, watching Flight Radar over this area. I've never seen three like that. But, I mean, like you said, it could just simply be a military exercise. They've been doing this for God knows how long now. But I will say this. Remember when they called off the operation that they were going to go into Iran, then they called it off? I saw, when I was doing this, I don't know if it was 5 or 6 tankers taking off from Saudi Arabia, all in a line. And I was like, oh shit, something's about to go down. And it was going to go down until they called it off. I remember that. There's a lot of tankers right there right now. There's 6 of them on the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just right here. 7 incoming. And they're not landing in the UAE or Qatar, or let's just say UAE. Or Qatar. That's done. We're not going there. And that Russian plane, what are you doing? Shit, I hit the wrong thing. Because it's like overlapping. Where is this Russian plane going? Nah, he's still at the same altitude. But that doesn't mean that's true. Holy shit. This could be spoofing too. And I'm sure the Iranians are paying attention. I see it just popped up again. They're playing games. They're turning their transponders off, on. Maybe. There are 6 tankers right here. A 7th inbound. 7 tankers. These two, I knew it. They're probably going to land. That would be 8, 9, and then there's another one. So there's actually 10 now. Where's the other one on the top of Iraq? There it is. But these two, I think, are landing. Coming in. What's the altitude? 18,000. This one looks like it's just going circles. Yeah. But he might be waiting for this one to come in. 26. Is it dropping? I'm assuming they're both going to land in Tel Aviv. Oh, it's actually climbing. But that's not climbing a lot. What about this guy? 7. He's definitely coming. He's definitely coming down. Yep. He's probably going to make a turn and come in. Yep, altitude is dropping for him. This one just turned. Well, he still has a little distance to get there. He's climbing. He's definitely coming down. This one's definitely coming in for a landing. Tel Aviv. I'm sure this one is too. So 2 look like they're returning. The other one is way up in northern Iraq. Circling. Allegedly. Been circling for some time now. Which some will say that could be refueling. Or it could just be a training exercise. Simple as that. This is, like I said, I've never seen 3. Well, the other one is now here. There could be a lot of spoofing going on too. Again, I don't want to read too much into this. Fox News message from Trump. What is it? Yeah, that's what I just said, Kenny. It could be fake. The aircraft tracks. Spoofing, yes. Definitely. That's why I keep saying could be spoofing. What do they say? What is it, Marianne? What's the new message from Trump? Oh, I'm not saying the attack is going on right now. Now, I don't know if they're doing anything here against these fast-moving boats. I don't know. I am not going to read too much into this. What was the Fox News thing, though? That's what I want to know. What was said on Fox News? I even said he's probably going to say something on Fox News. What is it? Do you know, Marianne? I think maybe some regime, like they have internet, but the public, no. Hold on. Let me check what you're saying with Fox. I'm going to go to the Fox TV. I can't show that. Trump says we can't let criminals change the course of events. Okay, watch now. He's on the call. He's on the phone. Oh, come on, man. I have a TV subscription.
Left the premises.
He's talking about last
He
night.
sort of said to me, "You have a dangerous job." I've known that. I didn't know it was quite as dangerous when I ran very innocently for president, but I'm very happy with the job we've done. And, you know, consequential, really, if you're a consequential president, you're in much more danger than if you're not a consequential president. Most presidents are not very consequential. They don't do the job that they're supposed to be doing. I mean, we have to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon because the whole world would be in danger. We would.
Where does
The
that
Middle East would get
stand?
blown up. Israel would get blown up within minutes from the time they got it. So we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. So this should have been done by previous presidents. It should have been done for years. 47 years it's been going on, and nobody did anything about it. We had to do that. I took the greatest economy we've ever had, and I said, we're going to have to take a little detour and stop that from happening. And that's what happened, and we've done a great job, and it'll come to an end very soon, and we're going to be very victorious. But they cannot have a nuclear weapon. So when you do that, no other president was willing to do it. They should have done it. Would have been a lot easier because they had far fewer arms and far less power. You know, if you did it 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, they had far less power. But we've taken that power away from them, and we've done a good job. But we had to do it. Otherwise, our country would have been very unsafe, as with the world. It would have been very unsafe.
Where do those negotiations stand right now on Iran?
Well, I called them back, our people. The flight is about 17 hours. We have great respect for the Field Marshal of Pakistan and for the Prime Minister of Pakistan. They're great people. They really are good. But, you know, it's a 17, 18-hour flight. I said, when is this meeting taking place? And it was like going to be on Tuesday, and it was Saturday, and they're leaving, you know, and by the time they get there, it's hours and hours and hours of flying. And I said, we're not doing this anymore. We have all the cards. If they want to talk, they can come to us or they can call us. You know, there is a telephone. We have nice secure lines, although I'm not sure any telephone line is secure, frankly. But we have secure lines, and if they want, we can talk. But we're not sending people to travel 18 hours to meet where you literally think of this. We had a meeting for
Ask
Tuesday,
about the
and it was on
ceasefire.
Saturday
Ask
that I
about
was
the ceasefire.
saying, when are we meeting? Tuesday, because it's so far. So great respect for Pakistan, but I will, because they've been terrific. They've really tried, and they'll stay involved. But we're going to do it by telephone. So if they want, they can call us. But again, they know what has to be in the agreement. Very simple. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. Otherwise, there's no reason to meet.
You have said, Mr. President, that you're in no rush to reach a deal, in part because the infighting between the moderates in what's left of the government and the hardliners further sort of fractures what's left of the regime, and that also in a matter of days, their oil vessels, their tankers, their production system will explode. And can you talk about the advantage that gives the U.S. in terms of waiting this out and how time is on the U.S. side of this negotiation?
Well, I don't know if it's an advantage. I think the big advantage is that we've taken out their Navy in its entirety. We've taken out their Air Force. They have no Air Force left. They have no Navy left. Their leaders are gone, which is a good thing. They were far more radicalized than the people that we're dealing with now. The people who we're dealing with now, some of them are very reasonable people, and others are not. And they're not getting along. You know, there's a lot of infighting, as you know. But, you know, they don't have anti-aircraft equipment. They don't have radar equipment. It's all been blown up. Their factories, their missile-making factories have been damaged about 75%, which isn't 100%, so there's danger there. And their drone-making ability has been damaged about 80%, 82%. They're in bad shape. I mean, they're really in bad shape. And, of course, we've done the blockade, and the blockade's been unbelievably effective, and that means they can't get any more money. But what you're referring to is that when you have, you know, lines of vast amounts of oil pouring through your system, if for any reason that line is closed because you can't continue to put it into containers or ships, which has happened to them, they have no ships because of the blockade. What happens is that line explodes from within, both mechanically and in the earth. Something happens where it just explodes. And they say they only have about
Hold on. I have to sign in with my provider. I agree with most of what he said. Disagree with some. What do you mean I'm not allowed? My TV provider. I think we're getting back.
it's clogged at the end. In other words, when you have to turn it off because you have no place to store this oil, either put it on ships or storage tanks, which they are just about finished with, a very bad thing's going to happen. So I think they're under pressure, but I don't consider it under pressure. I think the big pressure is that we've really militarily, our military is incredible. I rebuilt and built our military in my first term, and we also did a lot of work in this first year. You see, we're asking for $1.2 and $1.5 trillion, and we have the greatest military in the world by far. And, you know, we've proven that in Venezuela. We've proven it here. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, I hope they're going to be smart. And if they're not smart, we're going to win anyway.
So 3 days from now, approximately, their oil production system could explode. Obviously, that would do great damage to the main source of revenue in Iran and have a big impact on the trajectory of things. I know you've also been expressive about your displeasure with our allies and NATO in their response to this. And on Monday, tomorrow, King Charles is visiting, and Buckingham Palace issued a statement on the incident last night saying His Majesty is being kept fully informed of developments and is greatly relieved to hear that the President, First Lady, and all guests have been unharmed. So that message from Buckingham Palace about what you went through last night. Are your plans for the King's visit remaining as they were? Will anything change as a result of what happened yesterday?
Yeah, that's a big question you're asking. You got a lot of little points in there. You're doing a weave on me, like I do all the time. That's a big question. First of all, King Charles is coming, and he's a great guy, and we look forward to it. He's really a fantastic
Tell King Charles to fire Starmer.
A tremendous representative, and he's brave. You know, he's fought something that's very tough to fight. He's got a problem with, as you know, that very well documented problem with his health. And he's been amazing, actually. He's very brave, actually. And he's a friend of mine for a long time. So he's coming, and we're going to have a great time. And he represents his nation like nobody else can do it. As far as NATO, I am very, very disappointed in NATO because they weren't there. You know, we spend trillions of dollars on NATO, trillions, in order to protect Europe from Russia. And we've always been there, and we would always be there. And they can't do it without us. And yet when we wanted a little help, and we didn't need any help. We did it without any help. We didn't really need. And to be honest, I don't even think I've ever said this before, but I really sort of asked them just out of curiosity because I'd like to see if they would be there. You know, we've wiped out, largely wiped out the opposition. If we ever had to keep going, we'd wipe them out very quickly. The rest of it, the remainder. And I hope we don't have to do that, but it may be possible that we do. You know, they have no cohesion. Their leadership is very, very strange. Sometimes you don't have any idea who the hell you're dealing with. But it's just, you know, one of these things that we're gonna get it. We're gonna win. But NATO was not there for us. And I would ask, would you like to join us? And they said, sir, we don't want to get involved. And yeah, they said, we don't want to get involved. And frankly, when they said we don't want to get involved, as you know, UK said that, oh, no, we'll send ships as soon as the war is over. And that's not good. That's not good. We just can't have that. So we are not happy. Let me put it this way, just finish it up. We are not happy with NATO. NATO did not serve us well. We've been serving them for many years, spending trillions of dollars. And when we wanted a little help, they were not there. So we have to remember that.
Do you expect to talk about this with King Charles? And do you believe that, I mean, they have intelligence in their countries Your administration has spoken at length about the fact that Iran had enough enriched uranium to build 11 nuclear bombs. That sounds like pretty compelling information for an intelligence agency to shape their response to something. Do you get the sense that the intelligence agencies of our allies had the same view of that threat and communicated that well enough with the U.S.?
Well, I don't know. I think people knew they had a lot of stuff because we blew it up with the B-2 bombers. If we didn't go in there 7, 8 months ago with those beautiful B-2 bombers, that's the wing, very, very incredible stealth, incredible technology. We actually ordered 22 more of the new version. They're unbelievable. But we went in there at 1 o'clock in the morning, no moon, dark. Every single bomb hit the target and blew it up. If we didn't do that, they would have had a nuclear weapon.
But
everybody knew they had it. I mean, pretty much every country that knew anything knew they had it. The problem was it should have been done by other presidents because they had it a long time. They were developing it for a long time. And they were about 2 weeks away from having a nuclear weapon until we blew it up. So, you know, part of the thing is we have to take I call it the nuclear dust, right? But we have to take that nuclear dust. We're going to take it. And that's part of our negotiation with Iran. We don't want them to have it. We feel we'll help Iran. We'll do a lot of things, but they cannot have a nuclear weapon because they'll use it. And we're not going to let somebody use a nuclear weapon, blow up the Middle East, blow up Israel, blow up Europe. We're the furthest away, but we're doing the world a service.
Do you believe China's helping Iran right now? You're supposed to meet with President Xi in a couple of weeks. What's the latest there? What's your communication?
I don't think
with him?
much. I think they may be helping, but I don't think much. I can tell you this, they could help a lot more. I'm not overly disappointed. You know, we help people too when, you know, they would say, no, well, what about China? What about Russia? What about this, that? Well, we also help people. You know, we help Ukraine as an example. And we shouldn't have done it to the extent, and the war should have never started. Would have never started if I were president. And, you know, it's a bloodbath over there. It's horrible. So many soldiers are being killed. It's incredible. It's just crazy, actually. But, you know, you could make the case, well, we help Ukraine. And I don't mention that to too many people, but I mentioned it to you. So, no, I think China could have been much worse than they've been. So I don't consider them having been very bad.
You reference Ukraine. Have you spoken with President Putin at all recently? Where does that negotiation stand?
We're trying to get something done, but the fighting continues. And it's a very bloody war. It's a very bad. I settled 8 wars. This is one that I thought I would have had the easiest time. The hatred between President Putin and President Zelensky is ridiculous. It's crazy. And hate is a bad thing. Hate is a bad thing when you're trying to settle something. So, but it'll happen. It'll happen.
What was the last conversation you had with Putin?
Well, I don't want to reveal that, but I do have conversations with him, and I do have conversations with President Zelensky, and good conversations. But I've settled all these wars, including India, Pakistan. That could have been a nuclear war. I settled it at the very beginning, just before they shot down. 11 planes were shot down already. It was going to be a tragic. The Prime Minister of Pakistan said I saved from 30 to 50 million lives. It could have been more than that. But it's my honor to do it. But we're working on the Russia situation, Russia and Ukraine, and hopefully we're going to get it, Jackie. Hopefully we're going to get it. That's the one. I would have thought that was, because of relationships, I would have thought that would have been the easiest one, and it really is the most difficult. And it's not as complex as some of the other ones I've settled very quickly.
Mm-hmm. We've talked a lot about issues overseas. I want to get your thoughts on some issues here at home. Your reaction to Virginia and redistricting.
While she's going to domestic, first of all, she didn't ask the question that I want asked. I don't know why she didn't do it. Mr. President, will the ceasefire be extended today? Why is she avoiding asking him that question? That's what I want to know. That's what a lot of people are probably curious. Is the ceasefire going to be extended? Why didn't she ask that question? Now, he's not going to tell her what he's planning to do. He's not going to let the media know what he's planning to do. He's going to keep that close to his chest. He's not going to tell nobody. But to say that I'm waiting, they know how to call, they know how to reach us, all that, that tells me it could be many things. He's literally going to wait for them to try to contact them, or he may do something. He may wait it out to see if this blockade, because that is true, not necessarily about exploding, because I looked into the research of that. But once once the system is shut off, you may not get the production, if at all, from those oil fields, and it takes a lot of money and resources to get them up and running back functionally. But they may never run the way they did. So that's a little bit more complex about that whole issue if you do the research yourselves. We did the other day. We went into some of the basic points of why that is the case, and that is true. They may never get to production. More so bursting in some areas. So you could look that research yourselves. Yes, more like bursting. Yes. I don't know if you want to say bursting is exploding, but yes, you cripple. It'll cripple on their own, because if they're not pumping at the capacity they're used to pumping, that can cause all kinds of issues for the production side. And we went through this the other day. I showed it on the screen, all the different things that they would have to do to try to get it back up and running. Well, if that goes down and it's not going at its capacity, yes, it is. And they may never be able to get full production out of those oil fields. So that is definitely true. It's done, by the way, the interview. That was like the last question. Fox is done. But as far as, we're waiting, they know how to reach us. They can call us. Well, he may force that issue. He may wait this out to see how that goes. She kept emphasizing 3 days from now that this could happen. You know, that with the oil production. Simply, he might just wait it out and hope they get on the phone and call out of desperation. Because the bottom line is the nuclear and the Strait of Hormuz and some other things. But I guess he's really thinking they're going to make that call. Or he hits them on top of the blockade to put more pressure on them to make that call. Who knows? I can't believe she didn't ask him. Despite what you say about the 3 days that this could happen, are you going to extend the ceasefire for the possibility of more negotiation? Why didn't she ask him that question? Are you going to extend the ceasefire? And, that's what I want to know. So he's not, obviously, there's no plans right now to send anybody overseas on this 18-hour trip. So that means nobody's going there. And even if they did, they wouldn't get there till tomorrow, local time. Because right now it's almost 9 p.m. in Islamabad, Sunday night. They wouldn't get there at the earliest tomorrow. Till tomorrow. So that's Monday. So the ceasefire technically expires today, right? I don't know. Let's just say 8 p.m. They couldn't even get there in time. So that means the ceasefire is extended? There's no official word about this ceasefire yet. She should have asked them. She had the opportunity to ask that question. She didn't. I don't know why, but she didn't. What is this? I don't know what that is. Somebody just put something. I'm gonna see. I'll check that out, whatever you put there. I don't necessarily want to bring up that individual in topic, afterlife, but I do see it. I have it up on my screen. But this is what he was referring to about ordering these, and yes, that is true, the B-21s. There's actually a couple right now being tested. Last I heard, it was 2 of them, prototypes. Last I heard. So that's what he was referring to about B-21s, the 21s. That's what he was referring to. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Again, like somebody said, I think it was Kenny, a lot of this just could be spoofing and not accurate with flight radar, but that's a lot of spoofing going on in the same areas with all these tankers. One, two, three, four, 5. Maybe 6. Nope, that's that Airbus. So, I don't know. There's one here. Don't know. Where's that Russian plane? Did it disappear? It did. It turned its transponder off. The Russian plane is not there no more. Because it was right about there. So, is Tusi, anybody in chat? Tusi going live soon? We don't really know. Again, the president is not going to publicize his next move. And he said, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do. That's common sense. Oh. Well, he's not going to put it out there, his plans. That's crazy. But I know, Ryder, I get what you're saying, but I think that what's going on here is there are those in the administration that are pushing this economic pressure with the blockade, and that they're going to cave in due to their crisis, economic crisis, especially regarding oil. And I mean, if you think about it, at the worst, you wait another. I'm just saying, just throwing this out there. You wait another week and see how that plays out. Because now she just said 3 days from now, 3 days from now, 3 days from now. She said it a few times. So what happens 3 days from now? Is Iran just going to collapse and cave in? Is that what you're betting on? I think they are. I think economic fury, whether it's frozen assets, sanctions, oil blockades, this could be their plan. That pressure. Now, you might construe it as a waste of time, but I guess time will tell, right? I really think they're holding off. But again, I have not heard nothing about the ceasefire being extended. And she should have asked that question. Mr. President, do you plan to extend the ceasefire with Iran? It's a simple question. He either says yes or no. I haven't thought it. He said it the other day. I haven't thought about it. Was it yesterday? I haven't really thought about that yet. What? You haven't really thought about that yet. He knows. But he's not going to tell the public. He's not going to tell the press. He's not going to leak it out. So I'm sure he knows what he's going to do. I'm just saying. At least I would hope he has a game plan moving forward. But I think the pressure, I think you could see where it's going. The naval blockade is doing great. It's highly successful. I think that's where they're going with that pressure. I'm not surprised she didn't do either because it's Fox. It's Fox. I'm not surprised she didn't ask that question too about the ceasefire. You know, because they're trying to cuddle up to him. Because there were times with Fox, Murdoch, you know, with the president. There were some bumpy times there, rough times. So I'm not surprised either. But she should have asked that question, dude. She should. That is a legitimate question that many people are asking. What about the ceasefire? But maybe they were told not to ask that question. So because they know the Iranians are paying attention to this. They'll use the clips. It'll be all over the place. Purposely not to do it to let the Iranians know what our position is about the ceasefire. Could be as simple as that. I'm not going to let you know what I'm thinking about the ceasefire right now. It could be as simple as that. And they told them, don't ask about the ceasefire. Because I'm not going to tell you. I want to keep them guessing. That makes sense. Because they know the Iranians are tuning into this. So if I look at it the other way, that makes sense. You know what I mean? There's so many ways to try to dissect this and look at it. You can spin it and you can look at it from so many different angles and perspectives and opinions. It's, you know what I mean? You have to try to be objective and think about all the possible things that could be going on right now if you're speculating. You know what I mean? So I have to look at it that way too. Maybe she didn't ask it because of a reason. I'm not making excuses, but that could be a possibility. Legit. I'm not going to tell you here so they see that I am going to extend it. I'm not letting them know I'm extending it. Let them call me. Or let them think about that, if I'm going to extend it or not. Or maybe I surprise hit you. And then you'll really think about the ceasefire being over officially. I don't know. It's a waiting game. We have to see how this plays out. But Iran's not going to make that call because the foreign minister has changed his whole rhetoric. Tusi's saying it. I've been saying it for over a week. When we seen this power struggle happening between Ghalibaf, and this was already before negotiation, Ghalibaf and Vahidi. I say Vahidi or Vahidi. You saw this building. You saw this issue coming up of the so-called internal power struggle or whatever you want to call it, discourse, disarray. You saw this coming. At least some of us did. Where there was the hardliners, like she mentioned, that's true. I would not call them moderates because they're all nut jobs. And to say that this is a softer regime right now than what was in place is absolute nonsense. That comment was nonsense. I was like, he just didn't say that. We're dealing with a softer regime. Oh, hell no. It's actually the opposite. They're dug in now. Now you're really dealing with the hardliners. So I don't know who's telling him that. That's the thing. Who is telling the president that? Somebody is. Somebody is definitely advising him saying that because that's bullshit. The hardliners obviously won out this power struggle. That's why things are going nowhere because they're putting their foot down. We will not negotiate until you stop the blockade. Nuclear files off the table. We're not going to be talking about the nuclear at all. IRGC, Vahidi, the pressure's on. Where's Ghalibaf? Is he under arrest? Is he in prison? Is he on house arrest? Where's Ghalibaf now? Who won that power struggle? The moderate, so-called moderate, or the hardliners? I mean, let's be real about this. Are we supposed to buy into that? You know what I mean? You don't go softline when the Ayatollah and Rockefeller. Exactly. When that red flag of revenge was raised by the IRGC, you think they're going softer now? You think those puppets, Ghalibaf or anybody else, represent, I keep saying this, the power of Iran? They represent the leadership of Iran? They call the shot? How many times have I showed on the screen the structure of the power of government? It's factions. One person does not make the decision unless the supreme leader, but we don't know about the mouse. Because he really is the one that the IRG follows his orders. The others toe in line with the Ayatollah, but we don't even know what the mouse is. If he's alive, coherent, incapacitated, we don't even know. And the IRG is going to say, okay, we have to keep the country together. We're taking over until such a point is either a new Ayatollah, they come public that he's no longer around, or a new Ayatollah by the Assembly of Experts is picked, or we just keep thinking that, and they keep saying that he's fine, messages are being sent to him and to us. That game goes on. But to say the regime is softer, we took out their whole leadership. Are you crazy to say something like that? Because that's absolutely bullshit. 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 And that's what gets me upset. My blood pressure goes up because that is so misleading. So misleading. Oh my God. With how I read the situation, I think Ghalibaf ran away or gotten by the anti-peace talk in the regime. If he did not get caught, his life is in risk. Not that I care for psychos like him. I agree with you, Amir. I totally agree with you. Look how he went dark and silent. Who won that power struggle battle? Yes, there was an internal power struggle within Iran. But I think it's pretty evident now that they're on the same page of where they want to go forward now. The hardline approach, the IRGC, the judiciary, the National Security Council, they've taken over the narrative moving forward. Ghalibaf is gone. The person you said were talking to, you don't want to release his name, that you were working with because you know that he would have been on the thread if you did. Remember that, all that, on a Monday? Remember that? He's gone. They replaced him with hardliners. And the foreign minister has totally changed his rhetoric now because they had to talk with him. Or he would have been out. They would have replaced his ass too. It's obvious. To anyone that's been observing this, it's so obvious what's going on. Oh, they don't want to call you because the IRGC does not want to negotiate with you. They're coming out with their conditions and you need to agree to their terms. And there's no way the president's going to do that. So I'll just sit by and wait for them to call when they change their minds. When their oil fields start to explode or they're economically crushed and they have no choice but to beg us to talk because pretty much if they did that, what happens? First of all, it portrays weakness in Iran, for sure. Secondly, it's like surrender. You think they're going to do that? Are we betting on that? Really? Really? Oh boy. Oh boy. So now it goes on and on again, like a merry-go-round. And now we just see and wait and watch and see how this develops, I guess. Maybe the phone call will happen. Oh boy. That's just my opinion. Why would they put this out? What the fuck is this? What is this? This is the guy. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. There's no audio?
Wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock the chair to the ground. The idea with this...
The Israeli news agency just released a clip of this guy. I don't even want to show it. Cole Allen in a 2017 ABC interview talking about a wheelchair.
Prototype for a wheelchair emergency brake.
Oh,
The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock...
Caltech student, do you guys want to see this?
With this,
And from 9 years ago, when he was a Caltech student, I don't care about that. Why are they showing this? Just to show an insight of who he is? That shows me nothing of who he is. A person can flip a week ago and become radicalized. I don't care what he was talking about 9 years ago. Well, I mean, people change. I'm not reading into this. So what? It's a 2017 interview with this guy. I couldn't care less. So the other side just put this out. They were tuning into the interview on Fox. President Trump, the war in Iran will end soon. We're winning very bigly. bigly? This is what the other side is saying. We're going to get that nuclear dust. They're going to give it to us. That's part of the negotiations. We have all the cards. Iran has no cards. I'm very disappointed with NATO, blah, blah, blah. I hope we don't have to deal with the remains of the Iranian regime militarily. But if we do, if we do have to continue military operations in Iran, we could wipe them out very quickly and very easily. They're saying, in a completely incoherent statement, Trump claims Iran's oil infrastructure will explode in about 3 days because of something to do with nature, mechanics, and the earth. You know, when you have lines of oil pouring in through your system, if for any reason the line is closed because you can't continue to put it into containers or ships, what happens is that the line explodes from within.
You don't got cigarettes, bro?
No. Both mechanically and in the earth, something happens where it just explodes. They only have about 3 days left, and when it explodes, you could never rebuild it. That's not true. It is a very powerful thing that takes place, sort of having to do with nature, and they are mocking the shit out of him right now in his statements. I told you that they would, of course. They're going crazy with it. No, I didn't. I was expecting that. So they're already running with it. I'm just telling you that right now. They're running with it. Now, they could just be saying that. It's all bluster. But that's what they're mocking it now. Here we go. The red lines. They keep emphasizing the red lines. This is 4 minutes ago. Just what I was saying. The message outlines Tehran's red lines, including on nuclear issues and the Strait of Hormuz, and we're not part of negotiation, but an initiative to clarify its position. Arachi is acting fully within defined red lines and his diplomatic mandate, the outlet said, citing informed sources. So he's getting his orders from the IRGC, Vahidi, and he's drawing these red lines, and they're emphasizing their red lines, because that's what the IRGC is saying. It's coming from the IRGC, Vahidi. So now what do we do? If they're dug into this position with the nuclear and the Strait of Hormuz, what happens next? You think the phone call's coming? You think they're going to cave in because of this oil explosion in 3 days? Yeah, last night was crazy. No, I'm glad you mentioned about my volume being low. I keep doing that. We went over everything that happened last night, Nick, in detail. But what I'm doing is waiting for more facts to come out from, like, say, the FBI investigation, law enforcement, before reaching for any conclusions, because there's so much nonsense already on social media and everything else that it was fake, that this was all part of a plot. I'm not going to be the conspiracy person. I'm going to wait for the facts to come out. But this is 4 minutes ago. So what was the message? They sent a message. What was the message? And how is he going to take their so-called nuclear dust? In negotiation, they agreed to that? Not based on what the Iranians are saying. Not based on what the Iranians are saying. So again, you see what both sides are doing. It's not what they're saying. Nuclear is not part. Look, I mean, it says it, the red lines, including on nuclear issues and the Strait of Hormuz. So what the hell is going on? I don't know. Don't know. And we just heard, we just heard this. Look, I mean, just look at this statement alone. Trump said some of the people Washington is dealing with on Iran are very reasonable, while others are not. This is old news. This is old news. The reasonable one that was talking was Galibaf. He was actually trying to negotiate. He's gone. There is no more reasonable. He's gone. And I know some people will say, well, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Well, that's a valid point. But why would you say we're waiting for their call? They can always call us. That means Iran is not trying to negotiate. If you're waiting for a phone call, that tells me he would have said, well, we're talking to them and maybe we'll set up another meeting and negotiation, but I'm not going to waste time of sending them there for nothing. That's different. But when he says, well, they can always call us and reach out to us, that means that on face value, that means the talks have completely stalled, deadlock. We're going to wait for their call. We're going to try to wait this out and wait to see when they beg us, when they call us to renegotiate. Is that the plan? Reading at face value, that's what it sounds like. Well, they know how to reach us. They know how to call us or send notes. That's where we're at. Meanwhile, we wait and see how their oil fields blow up, explode, whatever. And remember, I looked into this whole thing about the oil fields. Yes, there are issues, legitimate issues when it comes to them. And in some cases, it may never produce like it did. It may never produce like it did. But and they can be done. It can be done. It's very expensive to get them back up and running. And this so again, I don't know, because it's like they're telling him the story, but it's not it's like misleading. How about that? It's misleading, at the least. Shutting down oil wells a risky and expensive option, and these are the three main points. Reopened wells may never return to their previous productive rate. They may never return to their previous productive rate. So it may never reach that threshold. That doesn't mean it's never going to run again. Pumping equipment must be repaired and refitted at great cost. So to say that they'll never work again, that's not true. Other facilities such as refineries and pipelines cannot be kept in operation without some minimal level of production. And it goes into the whole thing, the impact on the wells, an enormous price tag associated with getting them running again, equipment, all kinds of stuff. So it breaks it down. The bill can reach up to $400,000 or $500,000 when you include labor costs. Even in low throughput well, repairing the equipment costs at least $50,000. So it's not like it can't be done. It can be, at cost. And it may never reach the level of production that it had prior. So that's just to give you a little clarity on what was just said. Okay? Because you might think otherwise. So most refineries cannot operate between 60 and 70%. A few can go as low as 50. And again, They're giving examples of stuff here, what would happen in certain situations, the Trans-Alaska Pipeline, if it can't be maintained, what the effects would be. So again, I don't want to take what he just said out of context, but it's not accurate. It's not accurate. The temporary shutting in of wells is one thing that oil companies try to avoid at all costs. That's because restarting production is expensive and wells are not guaranteed to return to their flow rate. The doubts are so great that some experts wonder whether the current round of shutdowns, far from preserving the resource, won't accelerate oil depletion instead. Some Russian engineers are even considering burning the excess oil rather than downsizing it. So they would rather burn the oil off to keep it flowing than shut it down completely, which makes sense. So they give you examples of what in past situations what happens. So to the layperson, the option to cut production seems obvious, but an oil well is not a tap with a flow that can be adjusted as needed. Either it operates at full capacity or not at all. Valves are installed, but they're only used during brief maintenance periods or emergency stops. Oil companies know that the decision to shut down for an extended period of time has serious consequences. 3. That's it. That's the bottom line. When you hear all this rhetoric and talk about them, that's what it's about. To be clear. And the Iranians know this. You know what I mean? So you have to give out the full picture, not parts of the picture. You want to be, how would I say this? You want to be truthful and honest when you put something out there so that the people really know what the situation is. Because if you mislead, now it can be closed, shut down for an emergency stop or that, but for a prolonged period, it can be very costly. 500,000? 500,000 when you're dealing, now the oil blockade is more important because they're losing hundreds of millions per day. But as far as depending on the oil fields, is that your theory here? Is that your who is telling him this? That makes me shake my head. I'm like, who is saying that in 3 days such and such is going to happen? And they'll explode or burst, or they're going to have to shut down their production, and they'll never get it back, and they're gone forever. I mean, who is telling him? Who's telling him that? Obviously, someone's telling him that, right? Leaves the lack of storage tank. Yes. 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 But like an example that the Russians would burn off that excess fuel rather than shut it down doesn't have to necessarily go into the tanks, but you'd be wasting a lot of oil. But do they care? Go ahead, Amia. Of course you can. Of course. Other Middle Eastern countries in the same state, their wells are shut down. Much of their oil not moving. That's a great point. Who just said that? Fred. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great point. That is a great point. What about their production? That is a great point, Fred. The Arab countries. Even though the Saudis, the East-West pipeline to the Red Sea, it seems like they're still pushing oil out, production. But you're right. That's a great point. So, facts matter in a situation, not over-exaggeration, at least to me. And I think that's what they're betting on. The economic pressure. I think that's what they're betting on. If you know the live stream, Iran. Yeah, that's Goldie. Yeah, I watch Goldie. Iranians in Canada talking about what new they not not official news, like more like informants who briefed with I watch Goldie and Armin. I enjoy watching Armin. I gotta be honest. I really love his enthusiasm, his humor, and he's down to earth. He's so real. I like Armin a lot. And Goldie's more of the serious tone, and what they do is like you said, what you just said in chat. But it's more on the personal side. Their coverage. It's more on the personal aspect. The people. I love that. I'm glad that they're doing something outside the box from all the other streams. You know what I mean? They're giving you insight. They talk about things that I don't talk, I would talk about, or Tusi's talking about. Their focus is on the more personal side and, what's going on. They're trying to show you what it is from an Iranian perspective and what the people, identifying what the causes, all that. I appreciate that. Keith says he's seen yesterday Iran dragging old empty oil tanker down Gulf toward Karg Island. Yeah, because they want to keep that production flow. And that's what the president was alluding to. They could just be filling it to fill it, to keep it going. So again, I could sit here all day long and come up with totally so many different scenarios, speculation, but we just have to sit back and wait and see how this plays out. It's as simple as that. You adore Amin, but also Goldie. You better be nice to both, Amir. But again, they definitely have a certain audience that they're appealing to. You know what I mean? And I love it because a lot of it, Amin is translating. He's telling the people literally what they're saying. And it's so insane. And that's why people should actually watch Goldie and Armin. Because you're actually seeing what these crazy, insane fuckers are actually saying in Iran. And we're made to believe that these are people that we could negotiate with. But when you see the statements that they make, the parliament members and everybody else, you say to yourself, oh, hell no. How could we be dealing with these people? Let alone that they're terrorists. How are we thinking these are people that we can work with? And that's kind of scary. And I'm like, hell no. No way. Just look at their daily statements from all the parliament members and all the mullahs and clerics and everybody else. You think that talking to Ghalibaf was the person that's going to make the decisions because you're talking to him in Iran? Are you that naive? And I don't know what the hell to make of that. I don't know what the hell to make of all that. Is it a game? Is it some kind of a psyop to make us believe that? I don't know what it is. But it sure isn't the reality. But a lot of people will believe it. That's the thing. A lot of people will believe it. I sure as hell don't believe it. No way. Let me see. I gotta see. I don't know if Vahidi. Does Vahidi have? I don't know if he has. Does Vahidi have an X account? See, there's all kinds of bullshit out there. Like this one. And I'm just going to show you an example. I'm not saying this is true. I'm just showing you what's on social media. That's Vahidi. That's him. Reports claim that the IRGC commander, Vahidi, has approved a large-scale emergency plan in the event of renewed conflict. According to the plan, within the first 24 hours, the launch of up to 1,000 missiles and 3,000 drones is included. So, Despite this is the guy you need to pay attention to, and this is the guy on the top of my target list. I've been saying this for God knows how long. Remember, the IRGC answers only to the supreme leader. That's it. So again, hey, this was a few days ago with Ghalibaf. After dismissing negotiator Ghalibaf, because there was a conflict between these two, which I documented for over a week, actually more like 2 weeks, how these two were going. This is the infighting that they keep talking about, the disarray. This was what it was about, right here. Who is going to be the one to call the shots in Iran? Is it going to be Ghalibaf, who wants to try to negotiate with the United States? Because he did. Or he's going to win out in this so-called disarray, discourse, confusion in Iran. Well, guess who won out? Ghalibaf had disappeared. Who do you think is in charge now? Duh. And you think he's softer? The regime is softer? Dealing with Vahidi? That's laughable. That's laughable. But people will buy it. And they'll believe it. Yeah, we're dealing this softer regime. Softer regime? Yeah, no one has all the answers, but I really appreciate the Iranian perspective. I mean, I can only come out with my opinion. I don't care, Amir, about how many people really watch. Whoever's watching watches. You know what I mean? I'm all good with that. But I'm, I thank you for that. But after dismissing negotiator Ghalibaf, Vahidi stated that Iran will continue enriching uranium, developing long-range missiles, and will carry on with the war until all U.S. soldiers are expelled from the Middle East, rejecting any dialogue. Well, that was when? April, that was Friday? And what happened over the weekend? No dialogue. He said it. No dialogue. Has there been dialogue this weekend? Canceled trips? Red lines? Put it together, people. Put it together. He's calling the shots. Vahidi is now calling the shots. That was the confusion. They didn't know who they should talk to. They didn't know who they were talking to. But meanwhile, over a week ago, we're talking to the right people. How quickly that changed, huh? Think about it. Yeah, the regime ain't softer no matter how many you take down. I don't understand how people don't understand this, Amir. I don't understand it. How people buy into this bullshit. They believe it, though. They actually believe it. And it's so cray-cray. And remember the deep rift inside the Iran regime? Look! This is April 10th. Chief Avidi is moving to limit the roles of Ghalibaf and Rachi. This is April 10th. This is 2 weeks ago. I was talking about this weeks ago. It's been talked about for God knows how long. And you don't know who you're talking to? You don't know who's in charge? You didn't see the conflict going on inside Iran between the hardliners, IRGC, and the people that you were negotiating with, Ghalibaf? I had no power to make decisions? I mean, seriously? I mean, it was so obvious. The writing was on the wall weeks ago. And Tusi's the only one, I think, one of the only people that was on it too. But we seen this. We saw this coming. It's not a surprise. How anybody is surprised by it is shocking to me. Unless you weren't paying attention to what was going on for all this time every day. It baffles me. And it has baffled me. Do people need to be constantly reminded of the structure? Oh, there is no government in Iran. Oh, yes, there is. There are factions. Oh, yes, there are. My gosh. I don't know. It's almost like sometimes I feel like, why bother talking? But why bother? I mean, really, why bother? It's so frustrating at times, I tell you. And today was not to be discussing this. And getting back, thank God the president and everyone is okay.
Lito,
What?
I'm trying to, to warm up my coffee, in that thing.
In the microwave.
Yeah,
And?
it's not working.
What mean the microwave is not working? But look at this structure. I keep showing, I'll be there in a second, Ma. Just keep looking at this structure of government in Iran. Put this in your brain. This is how it is. In simple. It is more complex. Like Tusi will show you the people that are in certain positions individually. He's accurate. 100% accurate.
They're still at it.
When the police, FBI go after, say, the mafia, they have the top, let's say for the sake of argument, Gotti, the consigliere, all the people below that, they have a chart. They have a thing out there. Person at the top, Supreme Leader. IRGC is right here. This is the top of the food chain after the Supreme Leader. That's a very true model you see there.
You remember him?
This is the structure. It's a little complex. You're telling me the parliament members have pull over the decision making?
Uh-oh.
What the hell was that? You saw that?
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, you better just keep your mouth shut.
Ma, go to the other room. But you got parliament members here, the president. Look where the arrows go. The assembly of experts are the ones responsible for picking the supreme leader. That's their role. But look at where the chain starts from. The people of Iran? Really? Really? Then you got this. Ma, stop. I'll be right back. She's doing something that she should not be touching. The tubes. Yeah, stop touching the tubes. Here, don't touch those tubes. Those tubes are not to be touched. I told you that.
Why?
Because they're empty. The tubes are not cigarettes.
Why are you acting so stupid and
Because
so...
you do that all the
But
time.
why are you acting
Anyway.
so aggressive? and
Anyway,
stupid?
getting back to this. They only answer to the supreme leader. The arrow only goes one way. Only one way. They supersede all of them. If shit hits the fan, who do you think is going to be the ones running the country? Vahidi is now the power player in Iran. These people that you think you're talking to, they have to go through all this top level and up to here. No. The judiciary, crazy hardliners. The Supreme National Council, crazy hardliners. The Assembly of Experts, forget about that. The ministries is different. That comes from here. Look where the parliament has to go through the chain. So when I hear that they're talking to Ghalibaf or this person, they don't call their shots in Iran. But if you listen to what some people say, you would think that, oh, we're talking to people that are more responsible. Oh, yeah, they're more responsible. They're moderates. They're puppets. That's what they are. That's it. Puppets. Nothing more. Vahidi is now because there was definitely the struggle between the parliament members, the more, let's call the more moderate ones, and the hardliners. And there was a power struggle how to move forward with the United States in negotiations. Because there are some people in Iran that are really concerned about the future of the country, and they want to survive. They don't want to go, they want to stay intact. They want to stay in power. And they're saying, listen, we got to make a deal with the U.S. If we want to survive this, we're going to have to compromise on some of these issues. The IRGC is saying, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. They took out who we answer to. They took out our supreme leader. If you think about jihad and a holy war, you don't think they're going to go over a holy war over losing their leader? And then the second one might be, oh, actually the third. The third one might actually be incapacitated or even dead for all we know? And you don't think they... Are you kidding? I mean, let's be real. I gonna have to get off soon because there's a lot going on here.
My dog, Tycho.
Tycho's fine. Anyway, Tycho's fine. Stop with that Tycho thing every day. He's under the bed. Go look under the bed yourself and see he's there. It's that simple. Every time I have to get up and check on Tycho,
Well, then you have to.
this is too much. Wasn't it yesterday that after the negotiations were called off, well, I just received a new note 10 minutes ago, and it seems like they want to negotiate. What happened to that? What happened to that? What? Say what? Wait, what? Exactly, Nina. You guys, listen. Yes, Ghalibaf is out, and you guys know more than what I'm saying, but you know you can identify with what I'm saying, right? The Iranians in chat? You know the deal. But for some reason, there are people in this country that have some kind of disillusion about the reality of the situation. I gotta close the door again.
No, why?
What? Because I'm live. That's it. No more today. Go over there. You need an ashtray? Here, take it with you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Kenji's here.
Yeah, he's here. He's in his room. Go ahead. Again, and I always say this, I'm an outsider. We don't know what's going on the ground in Iran, what the people are going through. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see what's going on. And the power play that happened, the power struggle between Ghalibaf and Vahidi, and who won out on that. It is clear who's calling the shots in Iran now. And to say that there's still disarray, confusion in Iran, they're gonna spin that till they can spin it till you're deaf. They're gonna keep using that. That's done. That's been decided already. Old news. Old news. It's clear who's in charge now. Maybe not clear to them, or maybe they won't say it's clear who they're dealing with now. But it's pretty clear right now to many of us that the IRGC is calling the shots. And I'm not even going to bring the Supreme Leader because nobody knows what the status of the Supreme Leader is. Is he dead? Is he alive? Is he injured? Is he incapacitated? Is he coherent? In the event that he's not, them up here, they're the ones. These right here, the judiciary, who are extreme hardliners, along with the IRGC, they're on the top of the food chain. You think these people that you were talking to are the ones that called the shots in Iran? Are you dead serious? They even if they do represent Iran, they got to go back to the supreme leader, let's just say. The IRGC has to approve. The Supreme National Security Council has to approve how they move forward. They got to go through all that. That's why when you heard that they were in negotiations, they were calling Iran, they were contacting the IRGC back in Tehran and whatever to get approval of how they move forward. And you see how quickly that it was done? The power is now 200% more, and the leverage is on USA. More ships, yes. 50,000 troops, yes. So let's just be clear about that. We should be very clear who's in charge now. It's not Ghalibaf. This was the power struggle. It is Vahidi. He's calling the shots. He's calling the shots. The head of the IRGC is now calling the shots. I don't know the whereabouts and what's going on with Ghalibaf, if he's on the arrest, prison, or just told to shut up. You're done. You're not talking to the United States anymore. You're done. You're off the team. You're gone. You will not negotiate the nuclear. You will not. No, they're taking the hardline approach, the hardline stance. He's done. He's gone. Ghalibaf is gone. That was the power struggle. That was the disagreements going on in Iran. Well, who do you think was going to win out on that? Politicians? Really? So why we're now at the point where, oh, we'll wait for them to call us. That tells you they're not communicating. They gave their red lines over the Strait, over nuclear, and until the United States, they're saying, Pakistan, tell them where we stand right now. This is where we stand. Send this note. These are our preconditions before we even negotiate again. The blockade, nuclear, and guaranteed that note got to the president, and he's seen what their demands were, preconditions, and he says, why would I send my delegation over there? This is a non-starter. We're not talking over this. That's probably what's going on behind the scenes. This is not something I'm even going to touch. I am not giving up the blockade. Are they crazy? I'm not giving up the nuclear. It's been about the nuclear since day one. This is a non-starter for us. I'm not wasting my time with this. I'll wait for them to call or beg me when the time comes to come back to the table. Yeah, right? The forehead of Vahidi. House arrest. And all I could do is shake my head. That's all I could do is shake my head. And I'm glad at least Tusi's got a large audience that is actually paying attention to what Tusi's saying. Nobody pays attention really to me, but at least Tusi is putting this out there. How Vahidi or Vahadi is in control. Thank God Tusi's putting it out there. Somebody's putting it out there. Maybe people will listen to Tusi. Because he's the only other one. And I don't watch Goldie and Armin all the time. Maybe they are too. Ghalibaf is on the house arrest? That's what Tusi was saying. It's the map of Karg on his forehead, Gitmo. But like I said, I would think Goldie and Armin are talking about this person. I mean, look, it's surrender or survival. What do you think they want to do? Do you think they want to surrender to the terms of the president? Or will they do anything they can to try to survive and meet their virgin goats? They're willing to, I can't say it on my TikTok, they're willing to sacrifice themselves, martyrdom for this. You think it's going to be that easy? That they're going to cave? Because of economic pressure? Oil fields being shut down? We could hit their oil fields. And another thing too is if they get pressured to that point, they may just lash out anyway. Whether you expect their economy to collapse because you're shutting the embargo with the oil, you might as well just target the oil fields if that's the case. What would that change? Would that change anything? And if they feel that they're being targeted with their infrastructure that way, who's to say that they won't threaten their Arab neighbors and strike them anyway? What about that? Oh, we'll wait 3 days until their shit's starting to employ. If they may see that as, well, you know what? If we're being pushed into that corner, we'll just strike our Arab neighbors and take out the whole damn region. Who's to say they can't do that? Oh no, we're going to wait till with their pressure, where their economies totally collapse their oil. Well, you know what? They may just say, well, screw that. We'll just, if we're going to go down, we're taking everybody out with us. Then what? Is that the strategy? Do you see what I'm saying? So how stupid can we be to believe in the bullshit that we're being told? Exactly. 450 million a day. They may get desperate and do something else. And we haven't even seen the Houthis play the straight card in the Red Sea. I mean, I can't believe it. I can't believe how naive. I don't know. I honestly, I really don't know how this is going to play out. I can't. There's so many, because so many scenarios can happen here. There's no clear track here. From right now, this is a deadlock. We're at a deadlock right now. Wait and see? Wait for a phone call? That's where we're at? Do we take a preemptive strike, or we just wait out this economic fury thing? Does Iran see a potential threat and lash out first? I don't know. The Houthis. Nina. I'm doing my best, Nina. I'm trying. You know what I mean? But I'm really looking forward to see what Tusi has, his opinion on this. I value Tusi's opinion. I do. And usually what I say, Tusi's pretty much on the same wavelength. I have to be honest. Not to confirm that what I'm saying is right or wrong, but it does seem like Tusi and I would definitely see eye to eye on a lot of things. Just saying. You know? I'm hoping that he goes live soon. Let me see if there's anything new coming out, because I need a little break. Momzilla is stirring about. Uh-oh. Okay, that's Hezbollah. A lot of it, one of their soldiers is unalived. Sad, Israel, they're putting it out there. 6 others wounded in Lebanon. Tomorrow, the foreign minister is meeting with Vladimir Putin in Russia, trying to gain their support. So sadly, I'll just put his picture on the screen. This Israeli soldier lost his life. That's so sad. But some people don't care, I know. He is unalived, and 6 others were wounded in a Hezbollah strike. Mom keeps calling me. But yeah, this dude, he has to go. He has to go. This is old. He's not the new IRG chief. This is old. Yeah. Well. Oh, shit. See, this is Friday. I don't know what to believe in. You know, this is coming from... What is this? I don't know what to think about this one. But this was Friday. At least 2 intelligence agencies have reported that Iran is planning its first full nuclear test within a month. Vahidi is more radicalized than the freaking supreme leader. He has ordered the speed up the so-called Kavir plan. What the hell? So we're dealing with a softer regime. If this is true, we're dealing with a softer... Yes, mother! I already fed them this morning. They're fine. Yes. Again, take that with a huge pile of salt. But this is the bullshit that's on the social media propaganda. This was interesting. And another Israeli reporter, this is old. This is an interesting take because an Israeli reporter referred to the same thing on this video. This is a memorial, but look who's on it. Let's freeze it. Is that the Mouse Jr.? Are they confirming he's dead? Speculation, but he's on it. It's a memorial. And an Israeli reporter caught onto this too. A mural of Iranian leaders that were taken out. Among them is the mouse. Iran just confirmed that the new Ayatollah is unalived. Is that true? I mean, I don't know. This is near Qom. It's one of their most religious cities. Look at all the people on it. But look, wait. Is that the mouse? Is that? You know? Interesting. I'm not saying that this confirms anything. All I'm saying is that is curious. That the mouse, his son, allegedly is still alive or whatever. Is this confirmation if he's on a memorial mural? That he's, you know? That is the Mouse Jr. Why would he be on a memorial mural? You know what I mean? It does look like him to me too. I don't want to say anything definitive. Got to be careful. But why would he have been put on a memorial mural if he wasn't unalived? Curious, huh? Now, if that's the case, the military coup has happened. The IRGC is in full control because the Assembly of Experts have not officially announced that he's gone, which means there is no supreme leader right now. And if there's no supreme leader right now, the IRGC is going to take full control of anything moving forward in the country. The military taking over. Makes sense, right? And maybe that was also part of the power vacuum because they knew that he was gone. I'm speculating. It makes sense, right? Exactly. Exactly, Bean. That's what I'm thinking. It adds up. It adds up. It definitely makes sense. It's logical. To those that are actually critical thinking, is a good thing to do. Who's the guy? Wait, hold on. I got another way to do this. Hold on. Because the Israeli Amir released that picture earlier today. Okay, look what the president said earlier. Just take this what Amir said. Trump, the Iran, and we heard this interview earlier. We didn't see it because I couldn't share it. The Iranian leadership is very strange. Sometimes you don't have any idea who you are dealing with. You don't know who you're dealing with? You don't know who's calling the shots in Iran? Now, he could just be saying that. But that's puzzling. That's puzzling. But he may not want to show his cards. He knows what's going on. I'm sure he knows what's going on. I'm positive, especially after the letter was passed off yesterday to him from Pakistan. He knows what's going on. He's not a fool. Do not think that. I don't think that. I know some people would think that. I've got it. Here it is. I found it. All right, I'm going to try to download the picture. Then we could try to focus it in on it. It may look blurry. I don't know how this is going to come out. And I would ask the Iranians in chat, because I can't, I'm not going to see a name. But maybe those that are here that are Iranian in chat could identify him. Because I sure as probably won't. It's probably some other figure. He's got to be in the upper food chain of they wouldn't have put him in that area. What was his name? So here's that's not Soleimani, is it? Is that Soleimani? Soleimani? I downloaded it so I can make the picture bigger. I think that's Soleimani, isn't it? The one that the president took out in the first administration term? I gotta look up his picture. That could be, because it's showing past figures too. That's definitely him. That is definitely the Mouse Jr. There's no doubt about that. Wait, let me look at Soleimani. I need a picture of Soleimani. I'm gonna swing this over to this side. It kind of looks like Soleimani. Like I'm gonna guess how to spell his name. I got it. I want to see an image of him. Oh, I think it is. It is Soleimani. It's Soleimani. It is Soleimani. Look. All right, so look at this image down here, okay? See that? Here's Soleimani. Looks like Soleimani to me. And he is worshipped. They had statues in Iran of him. That is definitely the baby mouse. But I think that other picture below the baby mouse is Soleimani. It sure as hell looks like him. That looks like Soleimani to me. Oh, that definitely looks like Soleimani. Thank you, Nina. What do you guys think? Is that Soleimani? I think it is. Because he's worshipped there. It makes sense to me. It's Soleimani. I'm going to check the mail now. They did do a slip, Nina. They did. They did. They just made it public that he's gone. I gotta look at his ad. I gotta get this shirt from freaking CB. Oh my God. I'm getting it now, Nina. I have to move it from the spam to, because it goes to the spam folder on Yahoo. I have to move it to the primary in order for me to access it. And I'll keep this private between us for now. Why isn't it moving? What the hell? I just tried to move it out of the spam folder. It doesn't want to move. Why won't it move? I got it. But he has based. I will keep this. I'm going to read this. This is pretty long. I am definitely going to look at this PDF. Thank you for sending it. I downloaded it. I got it. I have it. Thank you for sending that, Nina. Without getting into details, I'll keep that for now between us. I see it. So that is a slip. But that's definitely Soleimani. Because like I said, even Tusi was talking at the beginning that they were taking his statues down. Remember that? During the protests, how they were taking, because his statue was all over the freaking country, Soleimani's. That's why he's in the main area here. Because he was like worshipped there. It makes sense that he's going to be on the fore. Because even Tusi was showing them taking statues him down, remember? He was all over the place. Statues of him, Soleimani, everywhere. But this could be a slip. This could be an indicator. Tusi needs to know about this. Could this be confirmation that the mouse is dead? Mouse Jr.? I don't know for sure. But going back to that video, when this was unveiled, the mural, is that video fake? Is that, I mean, it's showing the same thing here. Is that video fake? Is the mural fake? I mean, I am almost 100% convinced that's the Mouse Jr. He would not be put up there unless he's unalived. Does anybody disagree in chat? I should download this video. I should send it. Man, does anybody have communication with Tusi? Tusi needs to see this. If he hasn't already. This could be confirmation. It's a little tricky for me to download it. And I got to go off screen to do it. I do have software that will do it. Off of Twitter. I mean Twitter. X. It is him, right? Copy video address. gonna try to get the video clip. Fuck. Excuse my language. Let me download this video with the Mouse Jr. on it. Look, that is a memorial mural. It's an honor to those nut jobs that they worship. Why would the Mouse Jr.'s image be on it if he wasn't unalived? Someone had to approve of that mural being displayed, no? And it's in near Qom. It's one of their most religious sites. Of course they're gonna put it there. I'm downloading it now. It's gonna be quick. All right, I got the video. I wonder if I should upload it on X and then tag Tusi at Tusi TV. Maybe I do that. I think that's the way to do it. I really don't post here. Media. Everyone can reply. I'm gonna put current Supreme Leader. I don't know how to spell his name. Can somebody put his name in chat? Oh, it's spreading? She put it up already? Good on Goldie. So Goldie already put it out. I don't have to do it. How do you spell his name? I'm gonna do it anyway. I wanna attach Tusi to it. How do you spell his name? I don't want to have to open up another window. I'm gonna have to. It is spreading all over the place. It is spreading all over the place. I'm looking at it right now. So I don't even have to do it. It's already out there. To be honest. I'm going to do it anyway. But they have the picture, they don't have the video. How do I upload a video? Add. No. Save post. You can save this post for later send. The content of your post is invalid. Discard. Shit. I've never done this before. Hold on. I'm trying. I think I might have figured it out. Fuck. Where is it? There it is, breaking. Is this confirmation that Supreme Leader, I copied his name, I just gotta copy and paste it. Now, how do I add Tusi? You guys got to help me because I've never done this before. So I just put at. It's on CNN now? Are you serious? All right, hold on. How do I do this? I've never done it before. I got this up. I'm gonna share my screen. How do I do this? I've never done it. Can you believe that? Do I put at 2CTV? I guess so. I spelled his name wrong. It's M-A-H. There we go. Post. Okay. So 2C will get it. 2C will get it. I got it. I just want him to see this. I'm sure he's aware of it already. But that actually could be real confirmation that he's dead. Yeah, we went over it all, Eugene. That was the first thing we discussed when I started the stream. Let's just be thankful, thank God, that he wasn't wearing something else during that dash. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. He just ran right through. And thank God that Secret Service took that fucker out ASAP. But what if he was wearing something else? That's what scares me. Like a vest? Oh my God. It could have been. That's what scares me, the security. There will definitely be some serious scrutinization of the security. Especially when you have other people staying in that hotel. Like that guy. That's why that ballroom makes total sense to have a secure location where the perimeter is closed off completely from anyone that's not supposed to be there. Yeah, that security is inexcusable. If anything, that is red flags. But that even emphasizes the importance of a ballroom on White House property. Look at the link, Bill. What link? I don't see a link. I don't see a link. I agree with you. People need to be held accountable. I don't know what you mean, Helmet. What link? I don't see the link. Are you a mod? You may need to. Who put a link? I don't see a link. Yeah, that's another thing, how they all ran in front of him to protect him. I was talking about that earlier too. Hold on, what's he saying? A lot of people are, this is actually old news. This was posted 11 hours ago about the mural. This probably happened yesterday. Because it's been posted for hours. I just caught up on it, but this has been out for hours. I mean, this is another one. This is 11 hours ago this was posted on. This is not new. I'm sure Tusi knows already. This is 11 hours ago. Is this Iran admitting that the new supreme leader is dead? A mural honoring prominent Iranians unalived by U.S. Arabia was unveiled in Mashhad. It includes a picture of the mouse, Junior, right there. This is 11 hours ago. So this has been out there for a minute, or for actually hours. It's not new. I just caught on to it. I got to do that. I got to watch that. What is that on, Eugene? What outlet is that on again? Invincible? I forgot what you told me. Is that on Amazon Prime? What was that one on again? Invincible? And I gotta get off soon because she needs me. That's a great, interesting point too, though. Nina woke up to it about 12 hours ago. That's an interesting point that Mr. LDS says. Iran could be doing this on purpose in an effort to protect him. That's an interesting perspective. But then it's also affirming to those people there that he is. Because that, Mashhad, Qom is right there. That's a really religious area of Iran. Yeah, actually, I think he's 31 from California. But I'm waiting for more FBI information to come out. I don't want to reach conclusions or speculate on this. I want to see more information coming out, more facts regarding this individual before getting more in depth about it. I'm waiting for more information to come out regarding Cole, the individual. Because there's so much speculation. Some people are saying that it was faked. There are people out there that are saying it was fake. I'm just telling you, I'm not gonna be part of that whole. I want to wait for the information to be released by the FBI. You know what I mean? Responsibly. Not start trying to come up with some conspiracy theory ideas or speculation. No, I'm not gonna do that. I gotta be responsible. I was watching live too. I went on, did a short when it was happening on YouTube. I did a short. 2 of them actually. So I was watching it. And then I saw what happened. I immediately went on YouTube and made a short. And then I made another short that he was going to be doing a press conference in 30 minutes. And that it was going to be rescheduled in 30 days or less. I was like, oh my God. I was relaxing, getting ready to actually watch the Correspondents' Dinner. My Yankee game was already pretty much done, so I said, let me go check out the Correspondents' thing. And lo and behold, it's his birth city. Oh, Nina knows. So what do you guys think? I totally respect what Mr. LDS put in there. Totally respect that as a possibility. But would they do that? Would they? I don't discount anything what they're capable of doing for misinformation and propaganda. But to put the mouse up there on a mural for all, right above Soleimani? I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'd love to hear what Tusi has to say about this. I want to hear his take. I'm sure, I didn't know it was 11 hours, 12 hours ago. I wouldn't have done that to Tusi right now, but maybe Tusi is not aware. But Tusi's in on, he's sharp. He knows what's going on. But, yeah, man, that's definitely the mouse. And that's Soleimani. That is definitely the mouse, Junior. He kind of looks like his father, kind of, right? You know? That's definitely the mouse Junior, though. So now it's a matter, is it a ploy? Is it a deception? Or are they confirming? It can only be either. So, I don't know. Personally, my opinion is this is confirmation that he's dead. But I definitely get Mr. LDS's point. But I don't know if they would do that on a memorial mural. Would they go to that level to do that? Or, how long did it take to make this mural? And is this based on reporting? Because obviously it took time to make this mural, no? That they went on early reports that he was, in fact, unalive, but it turned out to be that he is alive. Do you see what I'm saying? Again, we could spin this 1,000 ways. How long did it take to make this mural? When was this mural made? And in fact, did they have different information thinking that he was unalive, but in fact he is alive? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. To play that, I don't know. It's interesting though. Any word about, before I go, because I gotta go, there's too many things going on here. Any word that Tusi's going live? Nothing yet? It's a Sunday, I would get it. I wouldn't discount anything. Personally, watching the video, I don't think this is AI. Based on watching the video itself, anything's possible. Anything is possible. I don't discount anything. But could it be part of a propaganda to put this out there to make it seem like they are acknowledging it, like Mr. LDS said, on purpose to protect him? And it is fake? Your guess is as good as mine. But that is legit. That's legit. Anything's possible. But, you know, I to be honest, I don't know what to make of it yet. But it is interesting, to say the least. No Tusi yet? Is Goldie live? Goldie must be they're definitely going to talk about this. If she posted about it, she's definitely going to bring this up with Armin. So we shall see, no? Forget about gaming. I'm getting off. My whole plan was to game this morning. That didn't work out the way I planned. How long have I been streaming now? I was supposed to come on and game and relax. It didn't end up that way. It never does. Throw that out the window. Anyway, you lovelies, I need to take a break. If any breaking news comes out, I'll be back at some point. Keep an eye out for Tusi. Goldie's upcoming. I think they're going to next level. What's the alert, Eugene? What's the alert? I'm waiting. Before I go. Unless you're joking around. That'll be fine. But I gotta address Mom. There's some things going on here. I am looking at chat. There's a delay, so it's like 30 something seconds for YouTube. TikTok has hardly no delay. Fire? Wait a minute, fire where? Where is there a fire? What? Where? I'm searching Telegram. I'm not seeing anything. The other side would definitely push it. I'm not seeing anything on Telegram. How do I find your music on Spotify? But where are two channels are reporting it? What? Tell me, what the hell is going on? What? It depends what. Oh, you said Spotify. I'll put you a link. Here is my music. David and oh, I don't trust the Russian source. I never trust Russian sources. Hookstead is usually good. I agree with you on that. Totally agree with you on that, Eugene. One channel, I don't trust you. I do. I just said that. I don't trust the Russians, but Hookstead is usually on point. I want to wait to see. I could look it up to see if there's any reports. I want to wait on that. I'm gonna search it quick. Accidental fire. 22 minutes ago. I found somebody talking about it. I can't confirm this. The cause of the fire, RAF Fairford in Gloucester, UK, currently used by the B-1B and the B-52, involved in the Iranian war, has now been clarified. It was not a sabotage attack, but an accidental fire. The blaze broke out in the early hours of Sunday in an unoccupied, disused, single-story industrial storage building. Official statements from Fire and Rescue in the UK and the UK Ministry indicate that early investigations point to an electrical fault, with wiring believed to have caught fire. Fire authorities have stated there is nothing other than accidental as the cause, although a full investigation remains ongoing. No injuries were reported. The fire was quickly contained by on-base emergency crews with support from local fire services. No aircraft or operational areas were affected. While thick smoke prompted precautionary advice for nearby residents to keep windows and doors closed, there was no ongoing risk to the base or surrounding community. So there, it does look like it's coming from a building.
Course. It's on the alcohol supply. Not my rack, of course.
Now we can flip this two ways.
It's on the alcohol supply.
Now, I will flip this. But wait, Eugene, wait. Wait. Could the UK be saying this because this would be a strike on NATO, an attack in the UK, a sabotage done by, and then they would have to say they just attacked a UK base housing American B-1s and B-52s, so they're trying to downplay it, Starmer, so they can't get involved in the war or NATO. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying that's true, but it makes me wonder if they're putting that out publicly to say it was accidental, because otherwise the ramifications could be a NATO country just got struck, which would definitely get them involved. They have no choice. It's not like hitting Cyprus. They struck within the UK. I'm just saying, I'm totally hypothesizing, speculating, absolutely. But don't be so quick based on what they're saying and taking it. They say it's early in the investigation process. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying, though? Because that would be a strike in a NATO country on a UK base, which is being used by the US forces for Epic Fury. That is a direct attack to a NATO country. Article 5 automatically kicks in. NATO must respond. Exactly. Nothing to see here. Everything's fine. Something to think about. I'm not saying that's the case. But I'm sure the United States is looking into this. Because does anybody in chat really take the word of Starmer? I am, like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I am not. One must speculate and wonder if what we're being told as the explanation is accurate at this point. That's all I'm saying. Because if it turns out, big if, total speculation, if it turns out this was an act of sabotage and certain parties are involved, that is actually, this is a NATO country. It's a NATO base. Well, it's UK, it's NATO. US forces there, NATO. That's a NATO Article 5. No, but it's different. They try to find a way to wiggle out that, like, Turkey's a NATO country, but Iran had missiles going toward it, was intercepted by NATO. Remember that? But there was no actual impacts, allegedly, in Turkey. Or the Cyprus thing that happened with the UK. But this one, they can't wiggle out of this one if evidence is provided that it wasn't accidental. You can't wiggle out of this one. This is NATO. This is a UK base with American aircraft, especially B-1s and B-52s. That would be an attack on NATO, a NATO country. Article 5 kicks in automatically, whoever's responsible. So, Eugene, I'm glad you brought this up because this story needs to be watched. We have to see how this develops, if at all. But I know the United States is definitely looking at this, and with the, they're trying to diminish and downplay it. Like Eugene said, nothing to see here, folks. Everybody go home. Everything's fine. Close your windows. I know the smoke, inhalation. Close your windows. Close your doors. Just stay inside. Everything's fine. That's what I'm thinking. This is what makes me wonder, the whole Starmer thing, Gitmo, really. Or it might be that too. They'll try to deflect the blame. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, they're from next door. They come from next door. Anyway, good catch, Eugene. This is a good catch. And David Hookstead, now, I'm not saying, I don't know what they're claiming, that this is something to do with something else. All I'm saying, keep an open mind. Keep an eye on this. This could be interesting. I'm not saying it's going to develop into something nefarious, but it definitely needs my attention moving forward. Is Starmer, or are they going to make an official announcement about the cause of this fire? Are they going to do that? Is someone going to make a statement saying, yes, there was a fire at the RAF base, but it was accidental? Are they going to release a statement publicly? Or, I don't know. Keep an eye on this. I hope Tusi touches on this. I would guess that he would. I would guess Tusi will jump on this. I hope he does.
Not my rack, of course. It's on the alcohol supply.
And I'm just going to say this. If it's a faulty wire, okay, is what they're saying, is some kind of wiring issue, does that not look like a kind of a big blaze from a faulty wire? What, they just allowed it to get that big? They didn't identify it till it got to that size to address it? Or did it just engulf itself or out of nowhere and went boom and it grew into that size? I have a lot of questions here. I would like to see the fire from another angle to see how big it was. I'm just saying. And somebody said you just search TubeView, and there's a lot of videos on this. Somebody put that out there. I don't know who it was. Gitmo? Somebody. Eugene, you did. So if you guys want to look more into this, because I can't share the YouTube ones, go on and do some hi Debs. Go and check this out. Do some digging. This might be worth looking into more. Anyway, I'm out. Mom is in my need right now, and I gotta go take care of Mom. Keep an eye out for Tuesday. Goldie and Armin should be live by now, I would assume. I'm thinking. So I'm going to take a break. That's a good. I mean, there's a lot of speculation that it was a false narrative about that whole thing. But Yo-Yo and everybody, Nina, Gitmo, Eugene, anybody who's watching on TubeView, and of course Debs on TikTok, and anybody else who's watching on any other Facebook, any other platforms. Have a blessed day. Have a great day. Great rest of your weekend. And keep an eye on developments in so many different areas, like the president, as far as what happened last night. But thank God he's okay, and his wife and all the other administrative people that were involved, even the press and everyone there. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. And keep an eye about the ceasefire being extended or not. Keep an eye on developing stories about the mouse or this that happened in the UK. There's so much to keep an eye on right now. So I'll be back maybe later. If anything breaks, I'll keep an eye. But all of you have a great rest of your day. And be well, be blessed, be safe. I am out. Time to